Chapter 41. Every part of the bluefin tuna had its own price. Some parts were expensive, while others were cheap. The belly of the bluefin tuna was rich in oil, tender and pink in color. It melted in one's mouth and tasted delicious. This was the most expensive part. The middle and back of the bluefin tuna had a moderate amount of oil. The taste of the meat was inferior, and the color was lighter, so it was slightly cheaper. What the three of them mainly ate was the fish meat with big belly. Yihua also tasted the fish meat for a bit, and felt that it was ordinary. It might be that I ate too many birds and beasts in the past, and right now, I am only interested in crayfish. A few years ago, I even continuously ate instant noodles and spicy sticks for an entire month. It's delicious. Qing Yutong had an infatuated look on her face, and although Qingyu did not show it on her face, the happy expression on her face was able to explain everything. Yihua placed down his chopsticks. The two of them have never eaten anything better than this. Tonight, I will let them experience what is called delicacies. Bang! A crisp sound suddenly rang out. The customers in the restaurant looked up and saw a girl standing there in a daze. There were also a few porters, and the ground was covered with glass shards. There was also a bright red fish jumping around, and there was a broken dish beside it. The red fish jumped a few times and calmed down a lot. Its tail was raised, and it seemed like it was about to die. There was blood in the water. It seemed like the fish was injured when it fell. Oh my god, that should be the blood-red dragon. This kind of arowana is really rare. I didn't expect the owner of this shop to buy one, but it looks like it's hopeless. That girl is really careless. This blood-red dragon is worth at least 5 million. It's clearly the porter's problem. How could you blame a girl? The blood-red dragon, on the ground, flapped its tail weakly. Its blood-red scales were like its own blood, and its slightly raised head could no longer display its domineering aura of a king. Yihua looked at the fish on the ground, and it was as if he was looking at himself. Back then, how glorious was I? Yet, I was crazily attacked by the humans, and in the end, I could only wait for death to come. After coming back to life, I will think of ways to understand the humans. Only then will I not repeat the same mistake. Yihua, that seems to be your employee, right? Qingye said. Yihua took a look, and it was indeed one of my employees. I didn't expect that she would work here during the day, and at my place during the night. She would work at my place. She is truly a hardworking girl. Yihua responded indifferently. Don't you want to say something? Qingye said unhappily. In any case, Qingye is still my employee. How can she be standing there feeling wronged? As the boss, you should at least step forward and say a few words. Yihua said faintly. If one does something wrong, then there should be a corresponding punishment. Regardless of whether this matter is related to her or not, she is still implicated in this matter. If she were to step forward now, she wouldn't even know where she went wrong. Qingye pouted her mouth. I thought that Yihua would be so cold-blooded, so this is the case. No, this fellow was indirectly lecturing him. What brother-in-law said is right. Only by recognizing our own mistakes would we be able to be more careful next time. Qing Yutong was standing on brother-in-law's side. Yihua expressed that he was very gratified and patted onto Qing Yutong's head. The latter squinted her beautiful eyes, seeming to be enjoying it very much, causing Qingye to be angered to the point that she became speechless at the side. The relationship between this man and my little sister is really too intimate. I can't let this go on. If not, I will really have to go and send condoms to him. Sure enough, a man in a black suit rushed over and was dumbfounded when he saw the dying crimson dragon on the ground. This was a fish that the boss had specially sent over. If the boss knew about this, he would be finished. Who? The man's eyes revealed out an ominous glint, and a faint killing intent was emitting out from his body. Yihua felt it, and was a little surprised. The few movers immediately pointed at the girl. Tang Wei! The man shouted out, and his pair of eyes were filled with murderous intent. That's right, this girl was Tang Wei. Right now she was dumbfounded, and her mind was in a daze. Tang Wei, do you know how much this fish is worth? Right now, even if you have money, you won't be able to buy it. It is going to be extinct soon. Tang Wei seemed to be at a loss of what to do. She wanted to explain, but she was panicking to the point that she couldn't speak. At this moment, there was only one person that appeared in her mind, and she felt that only that person would be able to help her. Ignoring the manager's malicious gaze, Tang Wei took out her phone and sent a message. Just that. Right after the message was sent out, the manager snatched the phone away and threw it onto the ground fiercely, then used his leather shoes that were made from alligator skin to step on the phone. My phone! Tang Wei choked with sobs. Although this phone only cost about 1,000 RMB, it was still bought with my hard-earned money. Holding onto a pile of phone parts, Tang Wei let out a sobbing sound. This kind of helplessness made one's heart ache. The manager wished that he could slap this brat to death and shouted out angrily. What are you crying for? How can a lousy phone compare to my fish? Let me tell you, Tang Wei, prepare to work here for the rest of your life. Qingye couldn't bear to watch anymore and pulled onto Yihua, who was at the side. It's about time. If you aren't going, I am going. Yihua revealed out a light smile and stood up. What identity are you going to use? Are you the boss's wife? Go to hell. Qingye rolled her eyes at Yihua. This fellow is really hateful. However, there was a youngster whose movements were even faster than Yihua's. Boss, from the looks of it, this fish of yours isn't dead, right? A youngster who was wearing ordinary clothes walked out, causing Yihua, who was standing up, to sit back down. Student Qi. Tang Wei looked at the youngster who was walking over and cried out in surprise. Qi Shuwen squatted down and consoled. Student Tang Wei, are you all right? Tang Wei's eyes were red and swollen as she shook her head. Student Qi, quickly leave. This matter isn't related to you. Student Tang Wei, no matter what, we are still classmates. If I don't help you, who would help you? Qi Shuwen smiled slightly. This caused Tang Wei to be a bit absent-minded. In her impression, Qi Shuwen was a shy bookworm who rarely interacted with other students in class. But today, Qi Shuwen seemed to have changed into another person. He seemed to be very confident. The manager snorted coldly. You help? What are you going to use to help? Qi Shuwen stood up and said faintly. This fish of yours is completely fine. It just fainted, that's all. Bullshit, it's not even moving. If you have the ability, then slap it and wake it up. I will let bygones be bygones. The manager shouted in disdain. Qi Shuwen smiled but didn't say anything. With a mysterious confidence, he squatted down beside the blood-red dragon and stretched out his hand to caress the fish's body. Qi Shuwen was shocked in his heart. As expected of an arowana that is worth 5 million, it actually still has dragon qi. After a while, under everyone's astonished gaze, Qi Shuwen threw the blood-red dragon into the fish tank at the side. The fish that had a face that was about to die just a moment ago could be seen swimming happily in the water. My God, that youngster really cured the fish. Wow, so mystical, it actually cured. Chapter 42. The manager was also dumbfounded. The fish was actually cured. Bullshit. Classmate Qi, thank you. Tang Wei wiped her beautiful eyes and expressed her gratitude to Qi Shuwen. Qi Shuwen revealed a polite smile. Tang Wei classmate, please don't take it to heart. Helping others is my motto. No matter what, I still have to thank you. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Since Tang Wei has made such a request, I won't refuse. Qi Shuwen smiled modestly. This commoner campus belle seemed to be interested in him. He didn't expect such a thing to happen just by having a meal. Qingye laughed involuntarily. Yihua, there is someone who is faster than you and is better at acting cool than you. Yihua remained silent. However, this young man was the second person that he had seen who was capable, and the first person that he had seen was Long Aotian. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared at the entrance of the shop and pushed the door open with an oppressive aura. Lil Tang? Uncle Wei, that's right. Tang Wei's message for help was sent to Wei Chong. In Tang Wei's heart, Wei Chong was the man who cared about her. Right now, with a wronged expression, she threw herself into Wei Chang's embrace and cried bitterly. Qi Shuwen was stupefied. What is this situation? Who is this security uncle? Is he Tang Wei's uncle? It seemed like that was the case. His niece was being bullied, and as an uncle, he had to come and help. Yihua, isn't that your security captain? Wow, brother-in-law. Your little brother is so handsome, Uncle Appa, Qing Yutong said exaggeratedly. Yihua didn't expect that Wei Chang would suddenly appear. And the reason why he came was actually because of this girl. This caused Yihua to be very surprised. When did my subordinates become so conscientious? Wei Chang patted the girl in his arms to comfort her. Lil Tang, tell me who bullied you. Actually, Wei Changlai's reason was very simple. His little brother was being bullied. And as the big brother, he should step forward to teach the other party a lesson. This was what he had done in the past. Uncle Wei, it's fine now. Tang Wei blushed a little and broke away from Wei Chang's embrace. Why are you crying for no reason? Wei Chang was in a bad mood. When he saw the phone parts in Tang Wei's hand, his brows immediately wrinkled. Although Tang Wei came to Leisure Bar not long ago, Wei Chang knew that Tang Wei was very thrifty and would walk to work every day. What happened to the phone? Wei Chang asked. Tang Wei felt that she shouldn't trouble Uncle Wei, so she said, I accidentally broke it. I say, what's wrong with a broken security guard like you? Why are you standing up for a beauty? The manager was already very unhappy. When he saw a man in a security uniform shouting in his store, he instantly became angry again. Looking at this scene, Qingya was very worried. Yihua, quickly go over. It seems like they are going to fight. I'm fine. In this world, there are very few people who are able to defeat Wei Chang. And the number of people who are able to defeat Wei Chang can be counted with 2 hands. You! Qingya said angrily, then stood up and prepared to go and help Wei Chang. However, right after she stood up, she was pulled into Yihua's embrace. Just watch. Ayaya, I can't stand you two anymore. Showing off your affection in public. Qing Yutong covered her eyes and teased. With a red face, Qingya struggled a few times. This scoundrel, he still said that he wouldn't touch the same woman a second time. What nonsense. Look at how many times he has already taken advantage of me. The main reason was still because of the child, causing the two of them, who were from different worlds, to be together miraculously. Without the child, Yihua wouldn't even care about Qingya. And Qingya wouldn't even turn around to look for Yihua. However, fate is always so mysterious. This was also the reason why Yihua didn't try to control it, because it would always bring him a surprise. Just that, right now, he was a bit annoyed by this kind of surprise, because this woman was slowly changing him. Just like that weak little human who dared to speak arrogantly to me just now. If it was a few months ago, he wouldn't even be able to see tomorrow's sun. Of course, I wouldn't make a move on him. But right now, I don't even want to care about him. Could it really be like what Wei Chang said, that this is human's love? Yihua wasn't very sure and needed to investigate further. It has only been a few days. I am a supreme overlord, and she is just an ordinary human. Although she is considered to be outstanding among humans, she is still not qualified to be a match for me. It should be because of the child. It should be like this. Yihua, who was hugging onto Qingya, silently thought. Although he was thinking, his hands were still caressing onto Qingya's abdomen, causing Qingya's face to turn completely red. Qing Yutong couldn't stand it anymore. Even if the two of you want to look for trouble, can you go to the toilet? It's fine if this manager doesn't respect me. But what right does he have to insult Uncle Wei? Manager, what right do you have to insult people? So what if I am a security guard? At least I am stronger than you, who is dressed in a suit. Tang Wei changed from her weak attitude just now and actually argued with the fierce manager in front of her. The manager snorted in disdain. A lousy security guard and a poor woman. Both of you scram. Don't affect my business. At this moment, the surrounding customers were a bit displeased. This was a very unique restaurant. After all, the food that was cooked was quite delicious. But right now they felt that this kind of good restaurant was ruined by this manager. Sigh. I won't be coming next time. I didn't expect that this kind of person would be able to become a manager and ruin the reputation of this restaurant. That's right. When he is insulting others, he is also insulting himself. Looking down on others. When the manager heard the discussions in the surrounding, he was angered to the point that his face turned red, and he couldn't say anything. The anger in his stomach could only be vented on the two people in front of him. It is all because of them. Wei Chang, this man, wanted to beat Tang Wei up. Xiao Tang, stand there and don't move. Uncle Wei. Tang Wei shouted out worriedly. She was worried that Uncle Wei would be beaten up by the manager. After all, this manager looked very strong. Even his suit was bulging out from his muscles. The amount of human blood that Wei Chang's hands had been dyed with was already uncountable. Following Yi Hua to battle all over the world, Wei Chang had repeatedly set glorious records. And of course, the record of eating humans was a record. There was once when Wei Chang devoured all of the humans in 1,000,000 city, and the other members of the 7 deadly sins were all stupefied when they saw that. In terms of quantity, among the 7 deadly sins, Wei Chang was the most ruthless. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? Wei Chang was being stubborn again. Yi Hua shook his head. It's still the same as before. I broke your MP. The manager was unable to bear it any longer. He raised his fist and punched towards Wei Chang's forehead. Qi Shuwen, who was at the side, was prepared to help. After all, Wei Chang was Tang Wei's uncle. If I help him, it would also be considered as me helping Tang Wei. Pa! Before the fist even arrived, the manager's face was already slapped. The strength of this slap was just right. It won't send the manager's head flying. And it won't knock him down either. It will only make him feel humiliated. Yi Hua went into a daze. This move of Wei Chang's is not bad. The control of strength is just right, not bad. You dare to hit me. Do you know who I am? Pa. The other side of the manager received another slap, and his face was filled with disbelief. I was actually slapped by a security guard. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? None of your business. Pa. Chapter 43. Pa. Try hitting me again. Do you know who is my backer? Pa. My backer can poke you to death with just a finger. Pa. My backer. Pa. My backer. Pa. It was smashed by me. The manager was actually beaten to tears by Wei Chang. This is what it means to be arrogant. No matter how powerful your backer is, I will still slap your face. Other than Yi Hua, everyone else was stupefied. This security guard had simply refreshed their worldview. Although it was very satisfying, but he was still too impulsive. Now that he is satisfied, has he ever thought of the consequences? Qi Shuwen was also very surprised. This uncle of Tang Wei is not simple. The speed at which he hits people is extremely fast, almost catching up to my hand speed. Seems like he is a martial artist. And right now, Tang Wei's heart was intoxicated. Uncle Wei actually took the risk to help me vent my anger. I am really too touched. When the other party said that I have a powerful backer, Uncle Wei was still not afraid. This is what a real man is. Yi Hua, this employee of yours is too ruthless. Qing Yutong finished her big sister's words. Yi Hua said faintly, you all have never seen the more ruthless side of him. Right now, he is just messing around. Brother-in-law, can I trouble you to get rid of this bad habit of acting cool? Qing Yutong poked her brother-in-law and said while beaming. In actuality, I just like to see brother-in-law silently acting cool. It is too interesting. Qingya was currently still sitting in Yi Hua's embrace and said calmly, your brother-in-law also suffers from acting cool after smoking syndrome. Every time he finishes smoking, he would have to act cool for a bit. Brother-in-law actually has this kind of syndrome. Can it be cured? Qingya pouted her mouth. From what I see, this is a terminal illness. There is no cure. Pa. A slap firmly smacked onto Qingya's perky butt, and the latter was smacked silly. Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Big sister, seeing this scene, I suddenly recalled the scene when you were spanked by your father when you were young. Ha ha ha. Yi Hua suddenly laughed out loud. This kind of laughter seemed to have a demonic nature, causing everyone to look towards his direction. Qingya wished that she could seal her little sister's mouth, immediately left Yi Hua's embrace, and sat at the side to calm down. This time, Qing Yutong was really stupefied. What did I say just now? To actually make my cold and aloof brother-in-law let out such a laugh. And big sister who was bashful and angry. What is going on? When Wei Chang saw Yi Hua who was laughing loudly, his heart sunk. I wonder if his honor is satisfied with my performance just now? No way. He had to show off a little more and show that he had brains. When Tang Wei saw the boss and the lady boss, I can't even tell which one is the lady boss. It can't be that both of them are the lady boss, right? However, this doesn't matter, having Uncle Wei is enough. The way I feel towards the boss is just like having a small fan. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chong was very alert now, like a primary school student taking an exam. Tang Wei seemed to not want to cause trouble for Wei Chong, and said, Uncle Wei, forget it, it's not worth much money. Pa. Wei Chong gave the manager another slap, and the latter said aggrievedly, I didn't say anything just now. Your eyes are speaking. Wei Chong said coldly, I feel that what I did just now would be able to satisfy his honor. After all, I am able to discern people's thoughts from their body language. The manager really wanted to die, but he didn't have time to think and immediately closed his eyes. Now you don't have an excuse to beat me. Pa. The manager was in despair. Why? Wei Chong said gravely. You had body language just now. After finished speaking, the manager immediately sneaked a peek at his honor. Being able to understand other people's body language, I should be able to add some points, right? The manager swore that I definitely didn't move just now. This damn security guard was just finding an excuse to beat me up. Pa. Drops of tears slid down the firm face of the manager. The manager held onto his face and said while choking with sobs, I closed my eyes just now, and I didn't move at all. Why did you? You were speaking in your heart. Wei Chong felt that he had passed the test, being able to understand other people's minds. Qing Ye and Qing Yutong were about to cramp up from laughing. This handsome uncle is too funny. You have already beaten others to the point of despair. And there is no other reason for you to beat others up. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. Wei Chang's performance today is not bad. Being able to understand how humans think from all aspects can be counted as a small improvement. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chong turned around and asked lightly. Tang Wei was currently in a drunken state. Uncle Wei was very cold when he was beating me up, but he was still so gentle towards me. Is Wei Chang's expression a gentle one? It doesn't seem like it, right? No matter what, in Tang Wei's eyes, Wei Chong looked like this. 1888. Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chong nodded his head. Compensate me. Big brother, you should have said it earlier. Isn't it just money? If you had said it earlier, I would have compensated you. How big of a matter is this? What's the matter? Why are you making such a ruckus? Don't you know that I am receiving a distinguished guest? A middle-aged man could be seen walking down slowly, and behind him was a young man and a young woman. The man was handsome, wore a custom-made white suit, and the watch on his wrist should be an Abbey Millennium Series watch. The watch was made of 18K rose gold, and it gave off a strong sense of heroism. The price of the watch was a terrifying 8 digits. The woman was incomparably beautiful. She had a devilish figure. Her exquisite face was filled with the colors of an Oriental woman, and her expression was indeed very gentle. The dress that she was wearing was very unique, and from the looks of it, it was also custom-made. On her spotlessly white wrist, there was also a rose gold watch. It should be a couple's watch. Seeing that his savior had arrived, the manager did not care about the risk and rushed in front of Jiu Yi, hugged onto Jiu Ye's leg, pointed at Wei Chong and said while kneeling, Jiu Yi, he hit me. Jiu Ye's face immediately darkened by half. This shop was opened in partnership with a very mysterious person. It's just that the other person was low profile, and did not like to open a big shop. That was why he opened the shop on such a scale. If he was the one who opened the shop, it would definitely be a high-end shop. But his own man was actually beaten into a pig's head. And most importantly, he even ran to his parents like a child to complain. His face was completely lost. You can scram now, Jiu Yi said in a deep voice. This kind of person is completely useless. He doesn't even have the courage to fight back. The manager looked at Jiu Yi with teary eyes. Why did it become like this? Is it wrong for me to be unable to win? Is it wrong for me to bring out my backer? Is it wrong for me to ask for help when I am unable to win? Why are all of you like this? I don't want to play anymore. Jiu Yi, your man is very interesting. The young man at the back said with a slight smile. Jiu Yi sighed. Young Master Xiao, Madam Xiao, I have let the two of you witness a joke. Nangong Sini smiled sweetly. and did not say anything. Every single movement of hers revealed the demeanor of a big shot. Looking at the person who came down, Qingye was slightly surprised. Yihua sensed it. What's the matter? Yihua looked over. This man's looks are not bad. And the woman is also not bad. However, compared to my woman, they are far from being comparable. Do you know where the difference is? Because Qingye is my woman, she is born to be above everything else. Chapter 44. Qing Yutong ate the fresh and tender fish meat, and said curiously, "Big sister, this can't be your ex-boyfriend, right?" Upon hearing what Qingye said, Yihua's face immediately darkened. While waiting for Qingye to give an explanation, "I don't mind making this ex-boyfriend of mine bleed on the spot. Yihua, don't listen to Yutong's nonsense." Qingye hurriedly explained. However, after she finished speaking, she immediately scolded herself in her heart. Why did I have to explain to him? And even so quickly? Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. From the looks of it, big sister is indeed interested in brother-in-law. Tell me what happened. That's right, that's right. Sis, don't keep us in suspense. Qingye let out a sigh of relief, then looked at the man and woman who were not far away and said, "This man is called Xiao Yi, a member of Zijin City's Xiao family. To be precise, he is an illegitimate child. I heard that he was chased out of Xiao family back then, but a few years ago, he suddenly rose to power, and even married Nangong family's big miss, and established Dragon God Corporation. He is Xiao Yi? I have also heard about it. I heard that he has a lot of wives." Qing Yutong added, "Many wives? How could such a man have so many wives? Even I, the supreme overlord, only have one wife. What right do you have to have a lot of wives?" He glanced at his sister-in-law. She was pleasing to the eye. "Brother-in-law, what kind of look is that? I am a woman from a good family." Qing Yutong came over and covered her chest with both of her hands, just like a girl who was being molested. Qingye couldn't be bothered to say anything to Yihua. My younger sister just likes to mess around. And she completely didn't know that this time. Yihua indeed had such thoughts. "Sister, why aren't you saying anything? Brother-in-law has taken a fancy to his sister-in-law. Don't you care about it? All right then, I don't need you to give me condoms anymore. I want to have a baby with brother-in-law." Seeing that his big sister did not have any reaction at all, he immediately hugged onto Yihua's arm. Qingye couldn't help but want to take off her shoes and cover herself up. Yihua expressed that his sister-in-law's development is not bad, and she is a bit stronger than Qingye. Now Lord Jiu was very curious. Who dared to cause trouble in his territory? Didn't they know how the word death was written? When he saw that familiar blue uniform and that face, Lord Jiu was stunned. Looking at Jiu Yi who was walking over, Tang Wei was very afraid as she grabbed onto Wei Chang's sleeves. Back then, I heard from my colleague that this Jiu Yi is someone who can cover the sky with one hand in Long and City, and is extremely arrogant. But I never expected that this shop was actually this Jiu Yi's shop. He had caused Uncle Wei to suffer miserably. I heard that only the boss is able to suppress Jiu Yi. But why isn't the boss stepping forward? Wei Chang looked coldly at the three people walking towards him, without a trace of fear. When Xiao Yi saw Wei Chang, he recalled his past experiences and revealed a smile. Nangong Sini seemed to know what her man was smiling about. She poked Xiao Yi's waist, and the latter hugged his wife's waist. Qing Yutong clicked her tongue a few times. F***K. Why are you people so shameless, showing off your love no matter where you go? Go and find one then. Qingye said tenderly. Qing Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes. I want brother-in-law, big sister, give me half. Take it. I'll give them all to you. Really? Qingye fiercely rolled her eyes at her little sister. Can't you be a bit more mature? You are already a movie queen, yet you are still acting like a child. Looking at Wei Chang in front of him, Lord Jiu didn't know how to address him. He was the subordinate of that strange boss. Could it be that he should call him big brother? But he felt so embarrassed. Aya, so it's you. I still haven't properly thanked you for the matter last time. Lord Jiu straightforwardly retreated in order to advance. Last time, it was indeed Wei Chang who let Yihua in. What he said was not false. Wei Chang slightly frowned. It's you. Everyone present was stupefied. This security guard actually came into contact with Lord Gio. What's going on? And looking at Lord Gio's posture, it seems like he has the intention to curry favor with him. Lord Gio's actions caused even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who were behind him, to be slightly startled. This Lord Gio is indeed outstanding in Longan City. Since I came to invest in Longan City, I naturally have to come and meet this local tyrant. However, this kind of person is actually afraid of a security guard, Xiao Yi thought of himself. I want to see if you are really like me or if you are pretending. Xiao Yi's gaze became serious and immediately looked towards Wei Chang. However, the result was disappointing. Wei Chang was just a normal person. Yi Hua and Wei Chang both felt it. I didn't expect this man to be a bit interesting. There is actually a familiar smell coming from his body. In such a small shop, two people appeared at the same time. Yi Hua felt that he did not come out for nothing this time. This man can be considered to be of high grade. It's just that the smell coming from his body made me feel disgusted. You came at the right time, compensate me, Wei Chang said indifferently, not having the slightest bit of intention to give face to Lord Gio. Lord Gio was very embarrassed. Even if I have to offend the two people behind me, I don't dare to offend this person. Lord Gio laughed lightly and said, Everyone, my shop has some matters to take care of. Today's fees will be completely waived. Since Lord Gio had already spoken till this point, the people that were still sitting felt embarrassed to sit down and watch the show. After all, they still had to give face to Lord Gio. Not long later, everyone left, even Qi Shuwen left. Right now, I don't want to go and provoke this kind of big shot, so I obediently went to the sea to eat shrimps. Miss, my shop has some private matters to take care of. A waiter came to Yi Hua's table and said politely, waiving the fees for this table was very painful. After we finish eating, we will naturally leave. Qingye said indifferently. I really don't understand why Yi Hua's employees are so arrogant. Qing Yutong was very unhappy. The show had just started. How can I leave just like that? Don't worry. I won't forget about your money. My brother-in-law has plenty of it. The waiter was a little displeased. I already waived such an expensive fee, yet you still don't want to leave. However, it wasn't good for me to say anything, so I can only go and report to the waiter. Director Gong, the customer at that table is not willing to leave. The waiter came in front of Jiu Yi and said respectfully. Jiu Yi was currently in a fit of anger. Right now, whoever dares to provoke me will be the one to be unlucky. Every Tom, Dick and Harry are coming to annoy me. Do they really think that I am that easy to provoke? Turning his head and looking towards a table at the corner, Jiu Yi's chin almost dropped to the ground. My God, I didn't check the almanac when I went out today. The real big boss is actually sitting there and watching the show. If I had shouted out just now, just imagine how serious the consequences would be. When Jiu Yi saw the woman beside the big boss, he couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he didn't even want the woman that was delivered to his doorstep. Where else can I find this kind of woman? Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini also saw Yi Hua's table and went into a slight daze. They felt that these three people were a bit interesting. Jiu Yi swallowed his saliva, then walked over with a respectful expression and shouted towards Yi Hua. Boss. This word boss was clearly heard by everyone present. Other than Wei Chang, who was not surprised, everyone else was stupefied, even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini. The two of them were guessing in their hearts. Could it be that the boss behind this Jiu Yi is him? Looking at Jiu Yi's respectful expression, it seems like it is indeed so. Chapter 45. But this middle-aged man in front of him actually called Yi Hua boss with a respectful attitude. He couldn't have recognized the wrong person, right? Right now, Qing Yutong was not fooling around. She was sitting upright at the side, appearing to be very cold and elegant. Adding on the black dress that she was wearing, she was simply extremely sexy. The acting skills of a movie empress was not just for show. Towards this brother-in-law, Qing Yutong was only curious as to why Big Sister would have a child with him, and wanted to dig out this gossip. Just that, the surprises that brother-in-law brought wave after wave are really too interesting. Could it be that brother-in-law is a big shot of some organization, and he is hiding in this flower city. And then, on a beautiful night, he came to save the beauty, and big sister was taken care of? The plot should be like this. It must be said that the reasoning ability of the movie queen was too strong. The first half of the story was actually guessed correctly, but the second half was completely wrong. It was her big sister who delivered herself to his door. Xiaojio, this restaurant of yours is a bit expensive, Yihua said lightly. Calling him Xiaojio was giving him face. If he didn't give him face, he would directly tell him to scram. Jiu Ye's expression changed, and he hurriedly said, "My subordinates are not sensible. They didn't know that the boss came to eat. I immediately criticized them. It wasn't easy for me to come out to eat, but my mood was completely ruined." Yihua picked up a napkin and lightly wiped the corner of his mouth. That indifferent gaze of his, and every movement he made emitted out a faint aura of a superior. At this moment, Wei Chang couldn't pretend that he didn't see anything, and hurriedly walked forward and shouted, "Boss." Tang Wei also followed behind and shouted, "Boss." Yihua placed the napkin on the table. "Xiaojio, my employee's phone is broken." "Don't worry, boss, I will compensate." Looking at Tang Wei, who was standing behind Wei Chang, Yihua said indifferently, "That manager just now was chased away by you, right?" A drop of cold sweat appeared on Jiu Ye's forehead. This boss obviously has a hidden meaning in his words. Why did he bring up that idiot for no reason? There must definitely be a reason. I have to properly figure out the boss's meaning. If I say it correctly, it will naturally be good, but if I say it wrongly, it will be hard to hug onto this thigh. After remaining silent for 3 seconds, Jiu Yi immediately understood Yihua's meaning. "I also only found out today. I didn't expect that the manager's attitude would be so bad. Xiao Tang, this girl is not bad. She is calm and collected. I definitely think that she can become the manager." As expected of the experienced Jiu Yi, it only took him 3 seconds to understand Yihua's meaning. This also meant that the title of Jiu Yi was not for nothing. Tang Wei had a bit of the intention to refuse. After all, being promoted in such a short period of time feels so unreal. Wei Chang was startled. His honor is already standing up for you. If you are to reject him, wouldn't that be bad? Lil Tang, hurry up and thank him, Wei Chang hurriedly urged. Right now, Tang Wei only trusted Wei Chang. She could only nod her head and say, "Thank you, Director Gong." "You are wrong to thank me," Wei Chang reminded again. "Xiao Tang's brain is even worse than mine." Tang Wei cried out in surprise and was a bit flustered. Only after a while did she understand what was going on and said to Yihua, "Thank you, boss." Yihua said faintly, "Thank him, there is no need to thank me." Tang Wei immediately felt embarrassed. Wei Chang was also having a headache. Could it be that my judgment is wrong again? Alright, the other person has already thanked you. Yet, you are still putting on a stern face. Qingye said in a low voice. I obviously wanted to help the other person. Yet, I am still acting as if it wasn't my original intention. Yihua glared at Qingye. A boss should act like a boss. Don't tell me that I still have to be so mischievous with my subordinates. I have to properly teach Qingye about this. A small matter, a small matter. Jiu Yi smiled apologetically. Yihua was rather satisfied with this Jiu Yi. His brain works fast enough. He stood up and said, "After eating, let's go home." "Boss, madams, I will go and prepare the car right now." "Madams," Qingye's face immediately darkened, and Qing Yutong's face immediately reddened. Yihua was very calm. My sister-in-law is still under my investigation. Whether or not she is able to become the second madam will depend on her luck. This scoundrel is actually not explaining. He has ulterior motives. Brother-in-law is actually not explaining. Big sister is also not speaking. Could it be that they are planning to opt so perverted? CEO Qing, long time no see. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who had been observing from the side, walked over. And the one who spoke was Nangong Sini, who had a slight smile on her face. Yihua took a glance at her. This woman's temperament is not bad, and her overall appearance is not bad. It is a pity that she is not clean. Qingye seemed to be searching for her memories in her mind. I don't seem to have any dealings with her. But since the other party has already greeted me politely, I can't be like Yihua and ignore her. Madam Xiao, hello. Qingye clenched her small fists. Right now, I really want to strangle my little sister to death. She is actually impersonating me. That's right. Qing Yutong was even faster than Qingye. She immediately stood up and shook hands with Nangong Sini. This kind of action made even Yi Hua reveal out a trace of a smile. This sister-in-law really knows how to cause trouble. Look at Qingye's expression. She is almost unable to hold it in anymore. CEO Xiao, you are still so handsome, Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. She who mingled in the entertainment circle was very good at speaking. Even if she did not know someone, she would still be able to pretend that she knew someone. Just that, Qing Yutong's words made Yi Hua unhappy. As my sister-in-law, there is no need for you to please others. It is fine for you to just wait for others to compliment you. Xiao Yi was also incomparably surprised towards this pair of sisters. The luck of the man in the middle is even better than mine. I am really envious. CEO Qing is still so beautiful, this is? Xiao Yi asked with a smile. He was very curious about the identity of this man. Although Jiu Yi said that this man was the madam's just now, Xiao Yi still didn't quite believe it. He is my husband, Yi Hua, Qing Yutong said magnanimously. Right now, I am disguised as my big sister, so brother-in-law is naturally my husband, that's right. Qingye couldn't hold it in anymore, and with an apologetic smile, she stood up. CEO Xiao, Madam Xiao, my little sister likes to mess around. Please don't mind her. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini were a bit puzzled. Just what is the relationship between these three people? Qing Yutong laughed tenderly. Sorry, my big sister is jealous in actuality. He is my brother-in-law. If you continue to mess around, then go back. Qingye snorted coldly. This little sister of mine is getting more and more out of control. Qing Yutong's little face collapsed, then pulled onto Yi Hua who was at the side and said pitifully, Brother-in-law, big sister is scolding me. Qingye, enough, Yutong is still a child. Yi Hua patted onto Qing Yutong who had a dumbfounded face, and said calmly. 10,000 monkeys floated around in Qing Yutong's mind. You are the child. Have you ever seen a child with such a good figure? Right now, Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini still hadn't thought of Qing Yutong, the big celebrity, and only felt that these three people were a bit weird. Chapter 46. CEO Qing, when did you get married? You didn't even inform Big Sister? Nangong Sini faintly smiled. She actually called Big Sister. It seems like she wants to get closer to her. To Nangong Sini, this was definitely an action that was giving face to Nangong Sini. However, Qingye had an indescribable feeling, as if she was at a disadvantage. Why do I have to call you Big Sister? What does this have to do with you? Yi Hua really wanted to chase the two of them away, but he felt that it would be meaningless if he did that. He really wanted to see how Qingye was going to deal with this matter. After being together with me for a few days, it is time for me to change. This woman still dared to call herself sister? Did she eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? If it was 1 month ago, Qingye would definitely grab onto this kind of opportunity. However, right now, she didn't have the slightest bit of such a thought. Looking at Yi Hua, could it be that I have been brainwashed? Madam Xiao, Yi Hua and I have not had a banquet yet. Qingye gave out a courteous smile. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini slightly wrinkled their brows. This Qingye doesn't seem to be giving face at all. She is a woman with character. The two of them seemed to be used to it. This kind of woman was just like that. It seemed like she used this kind of method to attract their attention. CEO Qing, tomorrow night I will be holding a banquet. I hope you can give me some face. Nangong Sini changed from her previous gentle tone and invited with a businesslike tone. Qingye nodded her head and did not refuse. All right. Sini, let's go. It's too stuffy here. Xiao Yi said indifferently. Nangong Sini said in a tender voice. CEO Qing, we'll be leaving first. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. The two of them sat in the Rolls-Royce parked outside. Xiao Yi hugged his wife and unhappily asked, Why did you invite such a disrespectful woman? Nangong Xian said gently. It is precisely because she did not give you face that you invited her. Although it is only a small banquet, the people who came are all trying to curry favor with you. Xiao Yi laughed and lifted his wife's chin. It seems that you are more stingy than me. Only now do you realize how rare it is for me to be alone with you. You have to do your best tonight. I guarantee that I will complete the daily missions and make you wish you were dead. In the dining hall, Qing Yutong burped very unladylike. Big sister. The famous madam of Xiao family wants to address you as a sister, and you really don't give her any face. Yihua stood up and said faintly, there is no need to give face to others. Qingya did very well. Yutong, you should learn from your big sister. Qingya laughed complacently, then immediately became clear-headed. What am I laughing for? It seems like I am a little wife that is being praised. This scoundrel is making fun of me again. Your Honor, do you want subordinate to go and deal with those two people from just now? Wei Chong sent out a private message. People like them who are disrespectful to his honor should live in hell. Wei Chong, I originally wanted to praise you. Don't always think about fighting and killing. You have to be more humane. A salted fish will forever be a salted fish. Even if you turn over a new leaf, you will still be a salted fish. Do you understand? This subordinate is ignorant. Looks like I shouldn't have asked you to deal with the assassin group. Use this time to reflect on human nature. Your honor is wise. We are far inferior to you. You go back first. Yes. After the two of them finished their private conversation, Wei Chong respectfully said, Boss, I'll leave first. Yihua grunted faintly. Tang Wei seemed to have something to say. But in the end, she mustered up her courage and said, Boss, I think it is better to let someone else be the manager. Yihua wrinkled his brows. Wei Chong thought to himself, this is bad. Xiao Tang, don't anger his honor anymore. There is still 1 more month before school starts. I was thinking about it just now. I still have to focus on my studies during the day and work at night. Up to you. Yihua said lightly, stopping Jiu Yi from sending them off. Then, he brought along his wife and sister-in-law and walked out of Hitianxia. This meal is still free. Counting the money, I can buy a lot of crayfish with the money. When Jiu Yi saw those big shots leaving, he let out a sigh of relief. I better not bump into this boss again in the future. Uncle Wei, wait for me for a moment. I will go and change my clothes. Tang Wei revealed out a cute smile, just like a little bird that had just obtained its freedom. Wei Chong nodded his head, and not long later, Tang Wei walked over. In actuality, Tang Wei's appearance was really not bad. She was a standard classical beauty, with a spotlessly white and flawless oval face, coupled with that tall and slender figure. No matter where she went, she would be a beautiful scenery. As expected of the school belle, it was also Yihua's fault for setting his sights too high. The white dress that Tang Wei was wearing added a hint of fairy-like feeling to her. However, Wei Chong did not have any reaction at all. It can't be helped. Who asked me to not be interested in women, only interested in eating humans? If it was Lai Gu who tried it, he would definitely be able to make a deal that was worth hundreds of billions. Uncle Wei, you haven't eaten yet, right? Let me treat you to a meal. Tang Wei held on to her cheap handbag and said with a smile. Wei Chong said, No need, Xiao Tang. I had just bought some groceries and was preparing to cook for myself. Really? Uncle Wei, I am not bragging, but the food that I cook is very delicious. Is that so? Wei Chong asked puzzledly. Tang Wei nodded her head with a smile. Of course, I will cook for you and you will know after you eat. All right then, thank you, Xiao Tang. Wei Chong smiled. In actuality, he did not have any other meaning. But Tang Wei seemed to be very shy and decided to properly understand Uncle Wei. When they arrived at Wei Chang's rented house, Tang Wei discovered that Uncle Wei was actually living alone, and the house was very clean. Once again, Tang Wei expressed her admiration towards Wei Chong, and decided that in the future, she would come and cook for Uncle Wei. Wei Chong was completely unaware that he was being pestered by a little beauty, but it must be said that Tang Wei's guts was still rather big, to even dare to get close to Wei Chong. One must know that out of the 7 sins, other than Lai Gu, the other 5 chose to avoid Wei Chong. Because Wei Chong was a one-track-minded person, it was very hard to communicate with him. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Qingya walked to the bedroom and took a nap. Yihua did not disturb Qingya and went to the office to watch cartoons. Human nature was still very important. After Qing Yutong washed her makeup, she was cleaning the storage room. After all, there was still one more month before she could move out, and she wanted her own personal space. After she finished cleaning the storage room with great difficulty, Qing Yutong wiped off the sweat on her forehead and muttered, "This brother-in-law, he really doesn't know how to love his sister-in-law, not even coming to help." Pushing open the door of the office, a voice immediately rang out from inside the office, causing Qing Yutong to go into a daze. As I wish, Qing Yutong stared blankly at the Calabash brothers on the television, then looked at her brother-in-law who had a serious look on his face. Her worldview was completely destroyed, such a grown man, and yet he is still watching cartoons. "Brother-in-law," Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly. If it was someone else, Yi Hua would have mercilessly given that person a slap, but unfortunately, that person was his sister-in-law. "N," Yi Hua replied faintly. Qing Yutong sat beside Yi Hua, then picked up the remote control and directly changed the show. "Brother-in-law, why are you still so childish? Let me introduce a better show to you. I watch it every day." Yi Hua resisted the urge to slap his sister-in-law. "To actually change the show without my permission, even Qinya wouldn't dare to do this. Here, look at this, it's super good." After choosing the show, Qing Yutong crossed her long and beautiful legs and had a face full of expectation. Chapter 47. A few black lines immediately appeared on Yi Hua's forehead. Watching Calabash brothers saving Grandpa is nurturing one's humanity, but what do you mean by this joyful expression? Is it nurturing one's childhood? "Brother-in-law, I will pause for a bit to go and get some snacks. Wait for me. Don't watch it yourself." After speaking, Qing Yutong wore her cute slippers, slipped downstairs, and carried a big pile of snacks up. "Brother-in-law, do you want to eat some potato chips?" "No." "Brother-in-law, do you want to order McDonald's?" "No." "Do you want to drink fragrant milk tea?" "Not drinking." "Do you want to eat one spicy stick?" "You dare to eat my spicy stick," Yi Hua said gravely. Qing Yutong's face tensed up. "Eat a bit of numbness. Give it to me." "Brother-in-law, don't snatch my spicy stick, I will give it to you." "Ayaya, brother-in-law, how can you be like this? Return it to me." Qingya, who was in her sleep, heard a slight noise and immediately woke up. Yawning, she wore her pajamas and walked out of the bedroom. Pushing open the office door, she was stupefied by the scene in front of her. "What are you two doing?" Qingya shouted angrily. Qing Yutong could be seen pressing down on Yi Hua, and Yi Hua had stretched out the spicy stick in his hand far away, making Qing Yutong unable to snatch it. "Big sister, look at brother-in-law, he snatched my spicy stick," Qing Yutong said angrily, pouting her mouth as she accused brother-in-law of his evil deeds. Qingya looked at the spicy stick in Yi Hua's hand and immediately let out a sigh of relief. However, she still shouted out, "How old are the two of you? Look at joyful expression," and still snatched the spicy stick. "Yi Hua, you are going to be a father. Qing Yutong, you are going to be an aunt. Are you going to snatch the milk bottle from the child?" Yi Hua sat up and continued to look at joyful expression. From time to time, he would eat a spicy stick, completely ignoring Qingya's education, feeling that this joyful expression could also nurture one's humanity. "Brother-in-law, give me one. Go downstairs and get it yourself. There's no more, this is the last pack. Go buy it yourself." "Brother-in-law," Qingya held onto her forehead and felt that her blood pressure was rising a bit. Originally, it was fine if there was only Yi Hua, this weirdo, but now, there is another one. My heart is so tired. Suddenly, a scene appeared in Yi Hua's mind. My own child was fighting with them to watch cartoons, but in the end, he wasn't able to win against them and ended up crying and throwing a tantrum. Then he tried to fight with them over spicy gluten, but he wasn't able to win against them. My God, I really want to die. Unable to contain her anger, Qingya directly unplugged the power supply and stood in front of her husband and sister with a cold expression. "Qingya, what are you doing?" "Sis, I'm enjoying myself," Qingya said coldly. "We need to have a good talk." "Big sister, what is there to talk about? Quickly turn on the TV," Qing Yutong urged. "Qing Yutong, what exactly do you want to do now?" In the past, when you were filming, you would not return home all year round. And now that you say that you are not going to do it, what are you going to do about your compensation for breach of contract? Qing Yutong spread out her hands indifferently. I have already paid the penalty fee. Other than that Ferrari, right now, I don't even have the money to refuel my car. Then what are you planning to do? Eat and wait for death? Big sister, don't say it like that. I am a woman with a plan. Qing Yutong said mysteriously, seemingly like she was going to do something big, and this made Qing Ye's anger calm down a bit. What have you decided to do? Qing Yutong stood up, slightly raised her chin to a 45 degrees angle, then said in a deep voice, I have decided to become a female anchor. Female anchor? Qing Ye went into a daze for a moment, then continued. You, a person who graduated from acting, want to become a female anchor? Did Dad find some connections for you? Big sister, I am not talking about that female anchor. I am talking about live broadcast on the platform, the kind that can be watched on the computer. Qing Ye went into a daze and soon after, her face began to twitch. It was obvious that she was extremely angry. Qing Yutong thought to herself, this is the prelude to a fight, and immediately hid behind Yi Hua. You quit when your career is at its peak. You don't even want to be a movie queen, and actually went to become a female anchor. I am going to teach you a lesson on behalf of Dad today. Qing Ye was angered by her sister. Back then, she went to become a celebrity no matter what, and now that her career is at its peak, she quit. She actually went to become a female anchor. My God. Is there something wrong with her brain? Looking around the surroundings, Qing Ye picked up the broom that was at the corner and chased after her sister. There definitely is a deep hatred between the two of them. Brother-in-law, why aren't you controlling your wife? Aya, it hurts. The two women immediately chased after each other in the office. It was very lively. Yi Hua stretched out his hand and carried Qing Ye into his embrace, and the latter said unhappily, let go of me. I am definitely going to beat her to death today. Tsk, tisk. Seeing that her big sister was being carried, Qing Yutong made a face and provoked. All right, be careful not to hurt the fetus. Yi Hua said tenderly. Qing Ye was so angry, she helplessly threw away the broom in her hand, then turned her head and looked towards her man. Look at what she has become. Since young, she has been acting according to her temper. Sooner or later, something bad will happen. There is nothing wrong with being an anchor. Every profession has its own master. It is fine as long as you are happy. Yi Hua felt that it was very miraculous that he was actually able to say such a reasonable sentence. Qing Yutong was very happy. That's right, what brother-in-law said is right. Every profession has its own master. Big sister, you actually look down on an anchor. I despise you. Yutong, you should also speak less. Your big sister is pregnant. Yi Hua warned. And as expected, it was very effective. The two sisters did not say anything anymore. After a long while, Qing Yutong said calmly, I also want to accompany my parents more. These few years, I have been busy with filming and almost forgot that I have a home. It is fine for me to just stay at home as an anchor. Qing Ye went into a daze. I didn't expect that my little sister would have such thoughts. Seems like I misunderstood her. Just that, Qing Ye neglected one thing. Qing Yutong was a movie empress level person. Who knows how many times she had acted out this kind of tragic drama. Then tomorrow, you can go back to Zijin City to accompany your parents, or go back to Long'an City to accompany your grandparents. Qing Ye said faintly. Qing Yutong immediately came in front of Qing Ye and held onto her big sister's delicate hand. How can I do that, big sister? You are pregnant now. Brother-in-law is a man. He will definitely not take good care of you. It is fine as long as your little sister is here. When my little nephew is born, I still want to bring him to go to the disco. If I say that I am not moved, I would be lying. It is still good that my little sister has this kind of thinking. Then how do you plan to become an anchor? Qing Ye said calmly, seeming to have already given her approval, causing Qing Yutong to be overjoyed. As long as I can get past big sister, there won't be any problems. Back then, it was also because big sister supported me that I went to film. If not, I would also be like big sister right now being a businesswoman. Qing Yutong said obediently. I plan to find a better platform to live stream. This way, I will be able to earn money, and then buy a lot of good food and fun things for my little nephew, and bring him to chase after big sisters. Haha, be more serious. Qingye wrinkled her brows. I cannot let my own child be led astray by my little sister. Chapter 48. Alright, I'll be serious. Qing Yutong was extremely obedient. Qingye thought for a while, then came to a decision. I will open a company, and you will be broadcasting. Big sister, it can't be. You even want to earn your little sister's money. Qing Yutong immediately knew her big sister's intention. A businesswoman is indeed a businesswoman. Do you eat and drink at my place for free? I also eat my brother-in-law's money. Qing Yutong retorted. Isn't your brother-in-law's money still mine? Yihua liked this sentence a lot. Not bad. Qing Yutong puffed up her cheeks. This is the behavior of a thief. I won't do it. It's fine if you don't want to do it, accompany mom and dad. Then you can broadcast however you want. Big sister. Look at what you are saying. It's the same if other people earn it. I might as well give it to big sister, right? Qing Yutong immediately cowered. Qingye said petulantly. The money earned will be split 9-10. Big sister, this isn't good, just split it 50. 50 will do, we are sisters. Qingye flicked her hair. Yutong, I'll split 9-10, you split 10. Yihua laughed. I didn't expect that Qingye, who was in his embrace, would have such a side. Qing Yutong looked at her big sister dumbfoundedly, and after a long while she said, I thought that I have a big sister who loves me, and a brother-in-law who loves me, who knew that they colluded with each other, and thought of all ways to squeeze out the value of my little sister. What meaning is there left for me to live in this world? I'm leaving. You guys take care of yourselves. Qingye pouted her mouth and said, Remember to take away the underwear on the balcony. I'm going to buy a packet of spicy gluten to calm myself down, then come back. Qing Yutong waved her hand, then left with her miserable back view. At this time, a sentimental error should be added. Yihua hugged onto his wife and said faintly, 9-10, isn't that too ruthless? You don't know the speed at which she spends money. I'll help her save some money, in case no one marries her in the future. Qingye said helplessly. Looking at Qingye's tenderness at this moment, Yihua discovered that Qingye was truly very beautiful, and his pair of hands unconsciously reached into his pajamas. What are you doing? Qingye grabbed onto that simple big hand and shouted. Yihua came back to his senses. What happened just now? Did I eat the wrong medicine? Touch whether the child has grown up or not. Yihua didn't even know why he did that just now. He actually wanted to conquer her once again. Qingye still did not know what this scoundrel was thinking. I don't know who was the one who said at the start, but Yihua will definitely not touch the same woman a second time. Qingye said mockingly. This general immediately suppressed Yihua tightly. Yihua, who was extremely gloomy, put down the beauty that was in his embrace, and walked to the balcony to smoke. Qingye felt great and shouted out, Yihua, as long as you say that you are a big swindler, I will treat it as if you didn't say those words. Yihua silently smoked a stick of cigarette, then turned his head around and said coldly, The words that I, Yihua, have said, not even Tin Kuan would be able to pull me back. Let's see how long you can keep your mouth shut. After Qingye finished speaking, she prepared to leave. After teaching my little sister a lesson, I seem to have forgotten to teach my husband a lesson. Forget it, look at how depressed my husband is. I will teach him a lesson next time. With a slight smile on her face, Qingye returned to her bedroom. Seems like my charm did not degenerate. After consecutively smoking 2 cigarettes, Yihua finally calmed down. This woman can't be a spy, right? But thinking about it, who would send such a stupid spy? But his state of mind was changing. This kind of anxiety made Yihua a bit irritated. He sent a secret message to Lai Gu. How is the matter going? Your Honor, everything is settled. A cyan snow dragon. This type of dragon has extremely high nutritional value and will be of great help to little Your Honor. A golden delicate crane, which can nourish one's face and make one's madam even more beautiful. There is also a star cleansing sparrow, which can strengthen madam's physique. I have placed both of them on an uninhabited planet. Yihua was rather satisfied. After sensing Lai Gu's location, Yihua immediately disappeared from the office. Just at this moment, Qing Yutong came back from the office after buying spicy gluten. Where did brother-in-law go? I wanted to show off a bit. When Yihua appeared once again, what was in front of him was an expanse of white light. The towering mountain peaks were all frozen into a thick layer of ice, and the corpses of 3 gigantic ancient beasts were lying at the center of the valley. If one were to calculate the surface area, the size of one of the 3 ancient beasts would be enough to occupy 8 soccer fields. The 3 ancient beasts all had one thing in common, and that was a large piece of their necks were bitten off. And right now, all of the 3 ancient beasts were still bleeding. The blood of the ancient beasts were all golden in color, and the nutritional value was also extremely high. Whoa, Lai Gu's figure appeared on top of the corpses, and seemingly like he was showing off his battle prowess. Lai Gu ran to the corner of Yihua's mouth. You go back first. Yes, Your Honor. Before Lai Gu left, he secretly bit a piece of the golden delicate crane's meat, then happily returned to the big celebrity's house. Inside the luxurious villa, 3 beautiful figures were currently playing in the water, causing Lai Gu's saliva to flow out. If someone were to see these 3 beautiful figures, they would definitely cry out in surprise. Aren't these the 3 popular actresses? Why are there 2 more of them? I have to thank Lai Gu for pulling my 2 best friends into the water. And Lai Gu did not reject any of them. Yihua shook his head. This Lai Gu, he is rather generous towards women. Those female dragons in the past are also the same, but unfortunately, all of them died in battle in the end. Because of this, Lai Gu was sad for an entire year, and then he gave up on himself. Could it be that he found his true love this time? Just that. Yihua didn't expect that Lai Gu found 3 true loves. If Yihua were to find out that his subordinates have more women than him, where would his face be? Yihua took off the fresh meat from the 3 ancient beasts' bodies, and also took a drop of blood. After all, the blood contained extremely strong power, and Qingya was a normal human, so she couldn't eat too much of it. The feathers of the golden delicate crane and the star-cleansing sparrow were not bad. They were rather beautiful, and they were very suitable for women. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Yihua first placed the meat in the fridge. After freezing it for a while, the taste would be even better. As for the feathers, I still have to process them a bit. If not, with just a fan, I would fly away. Brother-in-law, where did you go just now? Qing Yutong walked out from the storage room and asked curiously. I bought some meat for dinner. Yihua said faintly. Qing Yutong responded with an oh, then ran downstairs. After that, Yihua heard Qing Yutong shout. Brother-in-law, help me move it, I can't move it. Yihua let out a breath. This sister-in-law sure is troublesome. I, the dignified supreme overlord, am going to help you move things. Yihua moved the big cardboard box into Qing Yutong's bedroom and asked puzzledly, what is it? A computer. I am someone who is going to be a broadcaster. Of course, I have to buy a computer that is used to make a living. Qing Yutong deftly assembled the computer, appearing to be very skilled. Didn't you say that you don't have money? That's right, brother-in-law. You didn't bring your phone when you went out just now, so I used your money to buy it. I didn't expect that the password would be so simple. The corner of Yihua's mouth twitched, then walked out helplessly, leaving behind Qing Yutong who was assembling the computer. After half an hour of assembling the computer, Qing Yutong let out a breath. Finally done, my little darling. Quickly come out, master. Chapter 49. Master, the mission is a little complicated. I'm still calculating it. What? Weren't you the one who asked me to come back and be a host? Qing Yutong said snappily. Who in the world would just pat their buttocks and leave just like that? Not giving up on the title of Best Actress. Isn't it still the system that's making things difficult for me? Master, there's a change in the mission. What change? Qing Yutong asked curiously. The original main mission has been expanded to a side mission. You can win chicken dinner once with your own ability. Qing Yutong thought that it was some big mission. Don't say one chicken. I can even eat 2 chickens. Master, I'm talking about the PUBG game. You can search it online and you'll know. Remember, you have to get the PUBG during the live broadcast. After a long while. You actually want me to be a game streamer. Don't you know that I am a girl with bad hands? Master, the system is here to make up for your flaws. Qing Yutong had already heard it a few hundred times. Alright, tell me what is the main quest. Main mission, seduce brother-in-law, and lose your virginity without your sister knowing. Qing Yutong was completely stupefied. How can there be such a ridiculous mission system? Are you serious? Yes. It feels so exciting, as long as Master is happy. Happy your sister. You actually told me to go and poach big sister's man. See if I don't beat you to death. Qing Yutong said angrily. I have never seen such a shameless system. Master, once you complete this main storyline, you will be able to use anything in the system shop. What? Qing Yutong was scared silly. I have only exchanged for the things in the system 7 to 8 times. And I feel that I am almost invincible. But right now, I can actually use them as I wish. And the condition is to push down brother-in-law. Isn't this too easy? Little darling, don't think that just because you are like this, I will do something that will let down big sister. I am a very principled woman. Qing Yutong snorted. And with a righteous and awe-inspiring appearance, she had a look of not lowering her head to evil forces. Master, is your brother-in-law handsome? Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Of course, my big sister's eyes are still very bright. Don't you have any ideas? Little sweetheart, are you questioning my character? Master, do you still have any moral standing? Qing Yutong snorted. Master, sisterly love can be shared. Think about how you can travel around the universe and visit all kinds of countries after you complete the mission. Don't you feel happy? You actually used this kind of thing to tempt me. We have a deep sisterly love. Master, your sister said that she would give you condoms. Have you forgotten? Maybe she can accept it. Are you sure? Qing Yutong's face was filled with disbelief. Of course. Besides, you might not be able to complete the mission. Your brother-in-law is not interested in you. Qing Yutong couldn't stand being goaded the most, and she said in disdain. Tisk. That is only because I didn't bring out my true strength. Let me tell you, I will be able to push down brother-in-law tonight. Just you watch, if big sister gets angry, I will sell you out to be the scapegoat. Master, as long as you can push me down, you can sell me out. Good, with your words, I can rest assured. From now on, the operation plan to overthrow brother-in-law has officially started. Brother-in-law, sister-in-law is here, big sister, prepare the condoms. Forget it. What the hell do I need condoms for? I want to give birth to a monkey for brother-in-law. The system let out a deep sigh. I am letting you hug my thigh. There is no other meaning. Compared to the things that can be exchanged in the system, this man is the biggest treasure. Becoming the woman that he approves of will be the greatest glory. As a system, I can also act cool in the system world. Master, whether or not we can act cool will depend on you. Your big sister is already one step ahead of us. We cannot let go of the position of the second wife. At that time, we will be above billions of people and below only 2 people. Right now, Yihua still didn't know that he had already been stared at by his sister-in-law. He walked into the bedroom and looked at Qingya, who was on the bed. Why do you sleep on the bed all day long? Pregnant woman, can't I sleep a lot? Qingya said faintly as she looked at the finance channel. Yihua didn't say anything. He sat at the bedside and said, You are not allowed to go to tomorrow's banquet. Why? Qingya asked gravely. Why is this man so overbearing, not allowing this and not allowing that? Yihua said lightly. There's no reason why, as my woman, not just anyone can be invited to my place. Qingya laughed. You're acting cool after smoking syndrome is acting up again. Yihua didn't say anything and insisted on his own decision. Qingya sighed. I have already promised others if I don't go, I will offend the Dragon God Corporation. I just want you to learn how to reject those people. If you offend them, then so be it. In this world, there is no one that I, Yihua, cannot offend. Yihua said in disdain. His goal was to let Qingya learn a principle. As long as you are my woman, you will be invincible. If others come to invite you, It is already giving you a lot of face, because at least you still have the chance to invite them, while some people don't even have this chance. Qingye suddenly became very serious. She stretched out her hand and touched Yihua's forehead, then touched her own forehead. I don't have a fever. Let's go out for a walk tomorrow. Yihua slapped away Qingye's hand and said coldly, if this woman was slightly more obedient, I wouldn't be so tired. Humph, don't. It's not up to you to not want. Yihua said. Do I still have human rights? I am protesting against your dictatorship. There is no need to discuss this matter anymore. I have already decided. Do you dare to run and let me see? I will run and let you see. After speaking, Qingye wore her slippers. Just that, she was only wearing one slipper when she was carried by Yihua. You bastard, let go of me, let go of me. If I don't go, let's go and starve. Qingye slapped onto Yihua's arm. If I offend the Dragon God Corporation, my plan to go north would be ruined. Furthermore, if the Dragon God Corporation were to speak, a lot of suppliers would have to say goodbye to me. This interlocking reaction would make Qingqing International go bankrupt. Yihua didn't use much strength and said lightly, don't move, be careful of the child. Just how unlucky am I to have a husband like you? Do you know what the consequence of me not going tomorrow is? Our family of 3 will have to go begging for food. I will support you. Qingye's heart trembled fiercely as she stared fixedly at Yihua with her beautiful eyes. She suddenly felt that the current Yihua was really handsome. Why am I being infatuated? I have to quickly slap myself to wake up. Save your bar first, then talk. Qingye became a lot calmer, and her body was even slightly leaning into Yihua's embrace. Qingye, Yihua suddenly called out. Follow me, and you don't have to fear anyone. Not knowing why, Qingye felt that what Yihua said was the truth, but she just couldn't stand seeing this fellow putting on a stern face. He is obviously hugging onto a super beauty, yet he still seems to be disgusted by her. What was your first woman like? After a long while, Qingye suddenly asked. Even she herself didn't know why she asked this question. Yihua said faintly, it has been many years, I don't remember. Chapter 50. TSK, you still don't remember? You're probably reminiscing about it. When Qingye said these words, she was completely unaware of how sour her tone was. Why doesn't this bastard know how to tactfully lie to me? Yihua said faintly. On the other hand, the aftertaste is quite deep for you. Scram, Qingye felt that Yihua would be able to talk about this matter for the rest of his life. If I had known earlier, I would have obediently returned home and slept that night. Of all people, I just had to come to this leisure bar to offer my body. As expected, I am very stupid. What Yihua said is absolutely right as a supreme being. It had been a long time since he had heard these two touching phrases. If it wasn't for his woman, he would have been sent flying long ago. If one were to carefully listen to Qingye's tone, one would be able to tell that Qingye was just acting coquettishly. However, it was a pity that the honest and straightforward Yihua was unable to tell. Yihua, where are your parents? After a long while Qingye asked. In any case, he has seen my family, so I should also meet him. No. After hearing that, Qingye went into a daze. Soon after she apologized, I'm sorry. Yihua remained silent, and Qingye also remained silent. The atmosphere became strange once again. Looking at Qingye's pair of slim and small hands, Yihua wrinkled his brows. As the woman of my supreme overlord, how can my hands be empty? If news of this were to spread out, where would I put my face? However, Yihua felt that the things that I, the supreme overlord, gave to my woman would definitely be unique and of a high grade. Suddenly, Yihua recalled the movie that he watched last night. That kind of combination of gems is a bit interesting. Opening up the gem chest inside the space ring, Yihua found the space stone, time stone, soul stone, reality stone, power stone, and spirit stone. Inside the space ring, 6 infinity gems could be seen floating in the darkness, emitting resplendent lights that immediately lit up the entire space ring. Inside the space ring, various kinds of items could be seen, and any one of them would be able to make anyone go crazy. Wei Chong had a hobby of collecting, And this was all because he learned from Yihua. Like leader, like subordinate. The 6 infinity gems gradually moved closer to each other. If someone were to see this scene, they would definitely collapse in fear. These gems could be embedded, but they could not be fused. After all, every type of gemstone had a representative power. Who knew what would happen if the fusion failed? Yehua. Ignorant humans, you will never know just how powerful the Supreme Overlord is. In that moment, the space ring shone with a powerful light, causing the entire space ring to shake. However, this violent energy was quickly suppressed by another energy, gradually calming down. It was like a tamed puppy. The 6 infinity gems had disappeared, leaving behind only one gem. It was so beautiful that it was suffocating. It had the power to destroy heaven and earth, and this huge contrast made people's hearts go cold. Yihua wrinkled his brows. The bracelet is too big. If I were to wear this bracelet on my hand, using the words of humans, it would be vulgar. Along with Yihua's clenching of his palm, the entire gemstone instantly shrunk. The size of the gemstone was neither too big nor too small. Just that, after the gemstone shrunk, it had a different kind of beauty to it. Yihua looked towards the weapon rack at the side, and a spear immediately flew out from the weapon rack. If I remember correctly, this should be an overlord's weapon. This spear's name was 3 Realms Crystal Spear, and Yihua was still unclear about the material of the spear. Back then when I killed this overlord, I also paid a price. If it wasn't for this spear, I wouldn't have gotten injured. However, it doesn't matter right now. This spear can only be used as a ring. A powerful pressure suddenly burst out from the body of the spear, and the originally pitch-black sound of the spear became silvery white, and even became transparent. It seemed to be resisting Yihua's power. In actuality, weapons that have reached this level all have their own consciousness. It's just that this spear underestimated Yihua's power, thinking that Yihua was only an overlord back then. The sound of the spear was trembling, as if it was carrying unwillingness and deep fear. Under Yihua's control, the spear's body gradually became thinner, and soon after, it turned into a circle. At the opening of the spear, 6 silver thorns extended out, looking like a dragon claw. The infinity stone in the air slowly fell into the ring, and an infinity ring was successfully born. Taking into consideration the powerful energy of the ring, Yihua placed a seal on it. With Qingya's identity as a human, she was unable to activate the power of the ring, and it was just a unique ring. After all, Yihua didn't know what would happen if he were to wear this ring and snap his fingers. What if the movie was real? The infinity stone that fused together would probably be even more overpowered. I really don't know if Yihua is giving a present or a time bomb. Qingya. Wear this ring. Yihua took out the infinity ring, and Qingya was instantly captivated by the ring on Yihua's hand. Women, after all of them like glittering diamonds, and this diamond's color is something that even Qingya has never seen before. Although it isn't big, it is stunning. What is this fellow trying to do by fawning on me for no reason? However, it is really beautiful. Where did you buy it from? How much did you spend? Although Qingya questioned Yihua with her mouth, she was still very happy in her heart, and there was even a blush on her face. Yihua said faintly, "Street stall goods, not worth much." Qingya also felt that Yihua was right. This kind of strange ring is definitely not a pure diamond. It should be artificially made. Qingya's guess was right. The ring was indeed artificially made. Are you going to propose to me? You are thinking too much. I just saw that your hand is empty. The favorable impression that Qingya just had was instantly extinguished, and she snorted and turned her head away. Yihua wouldn't let Qingya fool around like this, and he picked up the ring and put it on. Wrong. Wear it on your left hand. Qingya snorted and reminded. Yihua let out a breath and took off the ring. What are you wearing it on my thumb for? It isn't my index finger either. You actually wore it on my pinky. Yihua said gravely. Enough. Isn't it just a ring? It doesn't matter which one I wear. Qingya, who was flustered and exasperated, snatched the ring over and wore it on her ring finger. It sure is beautiful. I'm so happy. Wrong. Why do I have to be happy? This fellow took my card. and still wants to buy street stall goods. However, it is good that he has this kind of intention. Looking at the ring on Yihua's index finger, Qingye pouted her mouth. You should also learn to wear that ring like mine. You are no longer a single noble now. You have a family now. Women are so troublesome, Yihua said gravely, but he still changed the ring over. Humph, troublesome. Why did you give me a ring? Qingye stretched out her hand. No matter how I look at it, it is beautiful. Yihua sure is considerate. Yihua pursed his lips and said faintly, because you are pitiful. TSK, I think that you are more or less pitiful. If it wasn't for me, you would be prepared to be single for your entire life. Would I, Yihua, lack women? Can you not act cool? Chapter 51. Qingye finally understood why this fellow gave her something for no reason. It was actually to bribe her. With this bit of sincerity, she might consider peeling 20 kilograms of crayfish. Let's see, Qingye muttered. I will bring you out for a walk tomorrow. Don't lie on the bed every day. Yihua said gravely. Why is this woman so disobedient? She always does whatever I say. Qingye struggled free from Yihua's embrace. Even her pajamas were unable to hide her curvaceous figure. Tomorrow is Monday. There are still a lot of things waiting for me to settle in the company. You are the boss. Do they still need you to handle this kind of small matter? Of course, how can they make such a decision? Qingye raised her chin and said proudly, look at me, so young and already holding a lot of money. I am also beautiful. In any case, I have all kinds of good points. For you to have a wife like me, you should burn incense and pray to Buddha. Yihua stood up and said with an unquestionable tone. Right now is the age of the internet. Everything can be done at home. Wait until you give birth before going out. Impossible. You can give it a try. Change your clothes and come out to eat. I have specially prepared some tonics for you. After speaking, Yihua walked out of the bedroom, not giving Qingye a chance to resist. Qingye angrily sat on the bed, picked up the pillow and threw it here and there, fantasizing that the pillow was Yihua. How great would that be? However, looking at the ring on her ring finger, she was a bit happy in her heart. So beautiful. Yihua took out the iced prehistoric beast meat and cut it into 3 very evenly. Obsessive-compulsive patients were like this. He tore open a bag of spicy gluten and placed a few spicy gluten to decorate the food. Looking at the bright red meat and spicy gluten, Yihua was very satisfied with his work. Soon after, he took out a champagne glass, filled it with boiling water, then used that drop of blood and dripped it into the glass. The white boiling water instantly turned into a golden color and even became very thick. It was not a liquid, but the taste was great. Then, Yihua made the feathers of the golden crane and star sparrow into a fan and used the dragon bone as the frame of the fan. Then he sealed the fan so that the entire city would not be blown away. Needless to say, these 2 fans were indeed beautiful. The golden crane's feathers were orange, and there were even complicated patterns on its feathers, making it look very mysterious, while the star sparrow's feathers were snow white, without any impurities, making it look very noble and elegant, just like his woman. Everyone come down and eat. Yihua placed the food on the table and said like a waiter. After quite a while, the 2 sisters walked down from the stairs. Yihua wrinkled his brows. These 2 women really don't care about their image at all. Luckily, there is no one else around. They are still wearing their pajamas even though they are eating. Brother-in-law, where's your dragon meat? Qing Yutong ran over and asked jokingly. In Yihua's eyes, his sister-in-law was just like a child that had not grown up yet and needed time to baptize her. For the time being, he would not touch her unless she was able to meet his requirements. In actuality, what Yihua said was a kind of human feeling. This feeling isn't right, no matter how I look at it. It doesn't feel good. Just like the first time I saw Qingye, I was immediately captivated by Qingye's noble temperament. That's why the first impression is very important. And Qing Yutong was also able to act out the noble temperament of a big sister. But because her first impression was ruined, this caused her to still be a child. Have a seat. Yihua said faintly. Like a sovereign king, he sat down first, while the two sisters sat down like concubines. Just that right now their complexion wasn't very good. You want me to eat raw meat? Don't you know there are bacteria in it? Qingye wrinkled her eyebrows and said unhappily. I thought that Yihua would be concerned about me, but in the end it was still the same. This time, Qing Yutong also helped her big sister and said, Brother-in-law, big sister is pregnant right now. How can you let big sister eat raw meat? This meat is even red. Two ignorant women. How many people want to eat raw meat, but are unable to eat it? And the two of you actually dislike it. Qing Yutong could be heard continuing. Brother-in-law, do you have to be so elegant even when eating spicy gluten? Suddenly, Qing Yutong suddenly shrieked. Big sister, what are you wearing on your hand? Qingye rolled her eyes at her little sister. Aren't you asking the obvious? Qing Yutong immediately held onto her big sister's hand. Such a beautiful ring. I didn't see you wearing it this morning. Could it be that it was given by brother-in-law? Brother-in-law, how can you be like this? Isn't there a share for me? Qing Yutong liked this kind of ring too much. She felt that this ring was even more amazing than ordinary diamonds. Qingye's head was about to explode. Can this ring be casually given away? Giving it to me is a matter of course. But what would it look like if it was given to my little sister? Qing Yutong puffed up her cheeks and stretched out her hands in front of Yihua. In any case, I want it. I have no choice but to give it to Yihua. Qingye, who was at the side, shook her head. My little sister is still the same as before. Whenever I have something good, she would snatch it away. And if I don't give it to her, she would act shamelessly. I remember that when I was young, she was still rolling on the ground. And it was all for a doll. Yihua took out the fans that he had finished making and placed the orange one on Qing Yutong's hands. The latter was stupefied. I didn't expect that there would really be a gift for me. The beauty of this fan is not the slightest bit inferior to the ring. Holding it in my hands is super elegant. With a light fan, I immediately felt relaxed and happy. Qing Yutong was about to die from happiness. And when Qing Yutong's system saw the fan, its jaws almost dropped off. There is no item in the system shop that can compare to this fan. And the attributes of the ring on my master's big sister's hand are even filled with question marks. This man is indeed very strong. It is indeed not wrong for me to let my master hug onto my master's thigh. Just that with master's temper, I'm afraid that it will be hard for me to do it in a short period of time. Qing Yutong could be seen suddenly standing up, then kissed onto Yihua's cheek. Thank you, brother-in-law, just that. Right now, Qingye was about to spit out fire. Why does my little sister have it, but I don't? Also this Yutong, she actually kissed your brother-in-law right in front of me. Do you think that I am transparent? Seeing that her big sister's mood was a bit unstable, Qing Yutong knew that she was too excited just now and said embarrassedly to her big sister. Big sister, don't misunderstand. This is a very pure kiss. It is a gift from sister-in-law to thank brother-in-law. Just as Qingye was about to start scolding her big sister, a spotlessly white fan appeared in front of her. Swoosh. When the fan opened up, Qingye seemed to be able to see specks of stars floating out. How can a fan be so beautiful? Qingye took the fan blankly, and a gentle smile appeared on her face. The displeasure that she had just now immediately disappeared. Seems like Yihua also learned how to coax women. This was not Yihua intentionally coaxing women. He just wanted to give them a bit of benefit. I finally understand the difference between a wife and sister-in-law. Brother-in-law, you are simply too biased. Qing Yutong was very jealous. Big sister's white fan is even more beautiful. The system was currently collapsing. Qingye kept the fan happily, then took a glare at her little sister. Eat your food. Humph. Qing Yutong snorted and took a sip of the champagne. At least in Qing Yutong's eyes, this was champagne. However, Qing Yutong opened her beautiful eyes wide. What is this thing? Why does it taste so good? Although it was just a small sip, that unique fragrance swirled in my mouth. And soon after, it entered my brain, igniting my excited nerves. This is 2F** King delicious. Chapter 52. Looking at the empty wine cup, Qing Yutong was filled with hatred. Just now, I shouldn't have finished the wine cup in one gulp, and should have slowly tasted it. Qing Yutong's gaze immediately moved to the other 2 cups. Yi Hua and Qing Ye picked up the wine cup at the same time, causing Qing Yutong to stomp her feet in anger. These 2 stingy fellows. Qing Ye finally knew why her little sister would reveal such an expression. This wine is really delicious, so delicious that it could explode. I feel that my taste buds have been opened up. I have never drunk such a delicious drink before. Qing Ye, it's fine to drink this, Yi Hua said faintly, then picked up the knife and fork, and began to enjoy the fresh meat of the ancient beast. Qing Ye lightly then sipped on the meat bit by bit, causing Qing Yutong's saliva to flow out. Brother-in-law, I want more, Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly, continuously twisting her body like a child acting coquettishly. Yi Hua unhurriedly ate a piece of meat, and he felt that the taste was still the same. There wasn't much change. You can only drink 1 cup a week. What, brother-in-law, you are just stingy, humph. That's right. Qing Ye followed along and agreed. Seems like I also want to drink it every day. Can you guys drink the blood of the ancient beast every day? Aren't you afraid of it exploding? Qing Yutong looked at the fresh red meat on the plate and made up her mind. Isn't it just red meat? I have even eaten red steaks before. Yi Hua chose one of the 3 pieces of meat, then cut a small piece and stuffed it into his mouth with his eyes narrowed. 1 seconds later, Qing Yutong opened her eyes wide once again. What kind of meat is this? It actually melted in my mouth. This is the meat of the cleansing star sparrow. It has the miraculous effect of melting in one's mouth, and it can even strengthen one's body. How many overlords want to have a taste of this meat? But the cleansing star sparrow's strength is too strong, and they are unable to catch up. Looking at brother-in-law's calm face, Qing Yutong finally understood why the system pushed me to brother-in-law. This is the hidden super big boss. Big sister, quickly eat the meat, it is super delicious. Qing Ye seemed to still be worried. Qing Ye, I won't joke around with children, Yi Hua said gravely. This woman actually doesn't trust me this much. Qing Ye let out a heavy breath. Due to the fact that Yi Hua had done a lot of unreasonable things before, I am worried about him. She elegantly cut a piece of tender meat and placed it in her mouth. Her furrowed brows gradually relaxed. Although this meat didn't have the taste of salt, it was exceptionally sweet and delicious. It even had a strange fragrance to it, and it didn't have the pungent smell of cattle or sheep. This was a piece of golden crane meat. It was rumored that this meat had the effect of beautifying one's skin, and could even preserve one's appearance forever. It also had the effect of reviving the dead. An ugly woman could become a beautiful woman. It was the dream of many women, and there were even many female supreme beings who were willing to do anything for this meat. Unfortunately, no one could do it. The effect will be even better if you pair it with spicy gluten, Yi Hua reminded. The 2 sisters rolled their eyes at him. When you are enjoying the delicacies, please do not spoil the mood. In less than 5 minutes, the 2 sisters finished wiping out all of the meat. At the same time, the 2 sisters looked towards Yi Hua, because there was still a piece of meat that Yi Hua had not finished. Eating too much is not good for your body. Yi Hua directly ignored his wife's threatening gaze and his sister-in-law's pitiful gaze. The 2 sisters snorted at the same time. Too stingy. It is obvious that I want to eat it, and yet he still says that eating too much is not good for my body. It's so hot. After a while, Qing Yutong shouted out as she picked up her golden fan and started waving it. Brother-in-law, did you drug sister-in-law? You 2 are so perverted. I want to go home, Qing Yutong teased. Although it was hot, it didn't feel like that. Qing Ye also felt very hot. After picking up the star cleansing fan and fanning it slightly, she felt much more comfortable. However, she looked towards Yi Hua with a questioning gaze. Did you drug me? It's fine if you drug me, but you even drug my little sister. You are simply shameless. Yi Hua picked up a white towel and wiped his mouth. This is dragon meat. After eating it, you will feel a bit hot, but you will be fine after a while. Dragon meat? Brother-in-law, can you not brag? Yi Hua said faintly. The frame of the fan that you 2 are holding is also made from dragon bones. Alright, Yi Hua. I know that you want to smoke. Quickly go out and smoke. Qing Ye couldn't continue listening to Yi Hua. This bragging is about to reach outer space. On the other hand, Qing Yutong somewhat believed in Yi Hua. I must dig out the evidence that brother-in-law is a demon king. But the system isn't saying anything. Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly, brother-in-law, is there still meat for us to eat tomorrow? Once a week. Brother-in-law, I hate you. You let me experience pleasure, but you are unable to control the number of times that pleasure occurs. Qingye was hating iron for not becoming steel. Qing Yutong, can you speak properly? The latter made a funny face, then eagerly ran up and hugged onto Yi Hua, preparing for the plan that night, to take down brother-in-law, this demon king, in one go. Don't be angry, Yutong is still a child. Yi Hua said lightly. Qingye stood up and tidied up the table. Child? Other children at this age already know how to walk. Yi Hua was very gratified. Right now, Qingye knows that she is already tidying up, and doesn't need me to remind her. As her big sister, didn't you just become a bad child? Yi Hua, just whose side are you standing on? Yi Hua smiled slightly, and the latter immediately became unwilling. What are you smiling for? Speak clearly. Boss lady boss. At this time, Wei Chang suddenly appeared at the door, and behind him was Tang Wei. Qingye let out a sigh of relief, and did not find trouble with Yi Hua anymore. A smart woman would not be fierce towards a man in front of an outsider. Yi Hua nodded his head, then walked up and hugged onto Qingye. Uncle Wei, I want to take a leave of absence tonight. Tang Wei said a bit embarrassedly. She had forgotten about the matter of treating Qi Shuwen to a meal. Wei Chang nodded his head, and did not ask for the reason. Tang Wei thought that Wei Chang was angry and hurriedly explained. Uncle Wei, classmate Qi helped me today, so I have to treat him to a meal. It will only take 2 hours. After that, I will come over again. Wei Chang placed down the surrounding stools. It's fine. Just have fun with your classmate. You have worked hard on cooking today. Tang Wei's heart sunk. What does Uncle Wei mean by this? He was clearly still fine just a moment ago. Why did his face suddenly change? Could it be that I want to treat other people to a meal? That must be the case. Tang Wei could be seen using her new phone to send a message to Qi Shuwen. I might as well just treat him to a meal tomorrow afternoon. After sending the message, Tang Wei helped Wei Chang place the stools. What's wrong? Wei Chang asked curiously. Nothing much. I feel that work is more important, so I will leave it till tomorrow. Wei Chang patted onto Tang Wei's shoulder. Xiao Tang, since that person helped you, and you also promised to help him, then you should fulfill your promise. Uncle Wei, hurry up and go. I didn't expect that. I underestimated Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei is really different from ordinary men. Uncle Wei, I will be leaving first then. I will be back in 2 hours. Without waiting for Wei Chang to reply, Tang Wei ran out of leisure bar. Wei Chang shook his head helplessly. The thinking of humans is really hard to fathom. Chapter 53. At night, Leisure Bar's business was still cold and cheerless. There were only a few people here and there, which made Yi Hua very unhappy. However, the main culprit was sitting on the bed and gracefully fanning the star-cleansing fan in her hands. Looking at Qingye's expression, Yi Hua felt hot. Qingye, who was currently watching a drama, noticed Yi Hua's gaze, and immediately hugged onto the quilt, giving Yi Hua a cold gaze, seemingly saying that if you dare to come over, I will fight you to the death. Letting out a breath, Yi Hua said faintly, Go out and smoke a cigarette. After Yi Hua left, Qingye pouted her mouth. What do you mean by not touching a woman a second time? Will you die if you don't brag? Coming to the office, Yi Hua was a bit vexed. I am a supreme overlord. The words that I say are like water that is poured out. But today, I have this feeling twice in a row. How is this possible? Lighting up a cigarette and turning on the television. Right now, only happiness can calm the heat in my heart. Suddenly, the office door was pushed open. Oh, brother-in-law, Qing Yutong could be seen wearing a golden cheongsam. She who had a tall and slender figure was indeed able to carry the cheongsam, appearing noble and gorgeous. Coupled with the golden fan in her hand, slightly moving her face, revealing a pair of enchanting beautiful eyes, she was simply able to kill everyone. Qing Yutong looked at the stupefied brother-in-law, and secretly rejoiced in her heart. Look, when I make a move, even Xuanzang would have to kneel down and lick my boots. Are you sick? Dressing like this in the middle of the night? Yihua's mood was already very bad, and when his sister-in-law suddenly appeared wearing a dazzling golden outfit, Yihua was simply shocked. Master, I already said that this set of clothes of yours is not good, right? You didn't believe me. Qing Yutong was immediately stupefied. What's not good about me? Long legs, perky but slim waist, big chest, extremely beautiful face. Brother-in-law actually said that I am sick. I am injured. I am injured. I will never be able to recover in this lifetime. Looking at the dazed Qing Yutong leave, Yihua lit up another cigarette. The office was really filled with smoke, because these two women were both very worrisome. Qing Yutong, who returned to her bedroom, groaned nonstop, and also felt wronged. I, the grand movie empress, went to seduce brother-in-law, and was actually scolded as sick. This face of mine is completely thrown into the gutter. Master, you can't do this directly. Your brother-in-law is a man with principles. There is actually someone who is praising Yihua for having principles. In that case, I have to properly redefine the word principles. Qing Yutong took off her golden battle gown, wore a pair of shorts and a cartoon short-sleeved shirt, then sat in front of the computer. If one were to look carefully, Qing Yutong's eyes were a bit red. Seems like she was truly hurt, and her pride was hurt. Master, your brother-in-law is here. Dong dong dong. Sure enough, someone knocked on the door. Qing Yutong shook her lower lip, then walked over to open the door. After that, she directly threw herself onto the bed, then used the quilt to cover her head, and put on a posture of not wanting to see anyone. Yihua shook his head. This sister-in-law of mine is really one thing after another. In actuality, Yihua wanted to apologize to his sister-in-law. However, after thinking about it, I am a supreme overlord. If this matter of me apologizing to my sister-in-law were to spread out, where would my face be? Are you used to living here? Yihua asked lightly. Whoa. Qing Yutong covered the quilt and let out a pitiful cry. Qing Yutong is using a move of retreating in order to advance. Brother-in-law definitely came over because he felt guilty in his heart, and I threw myself onto the bed, and my perky butt is facing towards brother-in-law. If I didn't guess wrongly, brother-in-law is definitely staring at my butt, and after looking for a while, he won't be able to endure it anymore. At that time, he. If you are not used to living here, you can go home. Yihua said indifferently, then walked out of the room without even turning his head back. Qing Yutong froze. Even after hearing the sound of the door closing, she still did not wake up. This was the first time that she doubted her appearance and figure. Could it be that I am old? Did my butt lose its luster and elasticity? Why is brother-in-law able to face my perky butt so calmly? Just how did big sister do it? To actually give birth to a monkey with brother-in-law? Master, after the incident just now, I created a series of walkthroughs for you. The system said helplessly. Qing Yutong clenched her small fists tightly. In this world, which brother-in-law doesn't have any thoughts towards his sister-in-law, let alone such a beautiful sister-in-law. Xiao Guai, give me this brother-in-law's walkthroughs. No problem. First of all, your brother-in-law has to be infatuated with you. The first mission, make brother-in-law be willing to touch your thighs once. Xiao Guai could be said to have spared no effort to find a walkthrough, but if she were to complete all of the missions, brother-in-law would fall apart on his own. Xiao Guai, I didn't expect that your heart is so evil, Qing Yutong said with a face full of disdain. Master, don't think that it is just a small mission. As long as brother-in-law is willing to help, you have already won half of the mission. Qing Yutong thought for a bit, and it really does seem like that. Just that, how can I lure brother-in-law to touch my thighs? This is the problem. From today onwards, I am going to wear miniskirts and miniskirts. Master, you are wrong again. I suggest that you learn from your big sister. I don't want to learn from her. Always putting on a stern face. She has always been like that since young. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth and said. In actuality, Qing Yutong was just not used to seeing big sister's high and mighty attitude. But after coming back this time, she discovered that big sister had changed. The system knew its master's personality and did not force her. Master, it will be fine as long as you insist on being yourself. How do you think my big sister pushed down brother-in-law? Did she drug him? Xiao Guai, is there any drug that is a bit more powerful in the system shop? Forget it, just take it that I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? We are grasshoppers on the same boat. You better overdraft me a bit. If not, how are the two of us going to act cool? How are we going to fly? Master, can you have a bit of moral integrity? Even if you want to hug someone's thigh, you shouldn't do it like this. I might as well just sleep together with big sister and brother-in-law. Qing Yutong thought, and rushed out of the bedroom. Not long later, Qing Yutong's miserable shriek and Qing Ye's scolding could be heard from the bedroom. Qing Yutong, who had a gray face and hair, suddenly closed the door. Damn! Big sister's temper is getting bigger and bigger. Even when we were young, I didn't see her having such a big reaction when we slept together. Master, can you have a bit of face? F***K. It is already shameless for you to come out with this kind of mission. And you are still asking me to have face? I think that your skin is itching. You are asking for a beating. In the bedroom, Yihua leaned on the bed and said with a slight smile, Our bed is big enough. It is fine to let Yutong come over and sleep. Alright, you go and call her then. Qing Ye said coldly, giving off the feeling of a fierce wife. Yihua did not say anything. Qing Ye, who is jealous, is still rather cute. Tonight, you can lean over but don't drool. Who wants to lean on you? Qing Ye rolled up the blanket and leaned on the side. Yihua did not say anything and turned off the light. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Tick-tock, the clock on the wall rang very regularly, and Qing Ye finally couldn't take it anymore. She turned around and hugged onto Yihua. Don't misunderstand. I am just used to hugging onto things when I sleep. If not, I won't be able to fall asleep. You are saying that I am a thing, Yihua said gravely. Chapter 54. On Monday, Long'an City was shrouded by dark clouds, and soon after, it started drizzling. Yihua opened his eyes, subconsciously touched onto his chest, and let out a sigh of relief. Turning his head around, he looked at Qing Ye, who was sleeping soundly at the side, and the corner of his mouth hooked up into an arc, stretching out his hand. He stroked onto Qing Ye's smooth hair. Sob, sob, sob. Seeing that Qing Ye was about to wake up, Yihua immediately retracted his hand. What time is it? Qing Ye asked faintly. 6 o'clock. I'll buy breakfast for you. Yihua's heart trembled, then said slowly, Don't go, it's raining outside. And then I will sleep for a while more. Wake me up at 7 a.m. After finished speaking, Qing Ye gradually fell asleep again. All right. Yihua was unable to fall asleep again. If I didn't hear wrongly just now, she said that she was going to buy breakfast. Yihua suddenly smiled, and this time, the arc of his smile was especially big. Is this the kind of mutual concern that humans have? Was this the so-called husband and wife? I remember that a very long time ago, I had also killed a few couples. Even now, I still remember that at that time, that human woman died, and that man became especially crazy. Although it was all futile, I am very curious as to why he was so sad. However, right now, I finally understand. If someone were to take this woman's life, then Yihua, what time is it? Qing Ye, who was in a daze, asked indistinctly. If Yihua was to choose, he hoped that Qing Ye would forever remain in this half-asleep, half-awake state. Right now, she was just like a little kitten, just that after she woke up, she would become an unfeeling cat that would always go against others. Yihua took a look at the clock. It will be 7 o'clock in 10 minutes. Qing Ye opened her beautiful eyes, and the soft expression that she had just now completely disappeared. Sitting up, Qing Ye stretched her waist, while Yihua, who was leaning on the head of the bed, looked at this enchanting back view. I have killed countless people, and I didn't expect that I would actually be able to have a human lying beside me right now. Qing Ye paused for a bit, seemingly preparing to have an argument with Yihua in the morning. After waiting for a minute, Yihua still didn't say anything, causing Qing Ye to be extremely puzzled. Could it be that this fellow is using some new tactic today? Wearing the SpongeBob SquarePants version slippers, Qing Ye decided to not move in the dark. I will go and wash up first, then go to work. If he doesn't allow me, I will. I will. I will. I will. I will cry. I will make a scene. I will make a scene. I will cry. I will make a scene. Ah! Right after walking into the bathroom, Qingye let out a shriek, as if she had seen Yi Hua's real body. Yi Hua thought that Qingye had fallen, and without caring about anything else, his figure immediately appeared in the washroom. Just that, the fall that Qingye imagined didn't happen. Instead, Qingye looked at the mirror and touched her own face. That shocked look on her face made Qingye think that her face was disfigured. If there's nothing, don't randomly shout, Yi Hua said gravely, then opened the door and walked out. Qingye didn't even know that Yi Hua had come in, and she was completely shocked by her own appearance. Why is it that I am much more beautiful than yesterday? Her skin had truly reached a rosy white state. Oh my God, how did she become so beautiful? No, she couldn't be any more beautiful. Otherwise, it would be too easy for that guy. He had such a beautiful wife, yet he was still so talkative. If it was someone else, they would have already worshipped her like an empress dowager, hitting wherever she pointed. After washing up, Qingye discovered that Yi Hua was not in the bedroom. This is a good opportunity. She immediately changed into a suit, picked up her bag, and walked with her body bent like a thief. However, the sound that came out from her high heels was a bit too loud. Qingye was also trying to deceive herself. After walking down the stairs without any mishaps, Qingye patted her chest. However, upon thinking that Yi Hua would be worried about me, and when the time comes, he might throw a tantrum like that day. Forget it, I'll just leave him a note. Pressing the note on the bar counter, Qingye quietly left Leisure Bar, then drove the Audi A8 that was parked outside and headed towards Long and City's branch. Just after Qingye left, Yi Hua walked out from the side of the hall. In actuality, he saw everything, but he just didn't stop him. Looking at the note in his hand, Yi Hua laughed lightly, and the note instantly turned into dust. Yi Hua, I am going to work now. I really have a very important matter to deal with. After I finish dealing with it, I will be working at home. Also, I hope that you can accompany me to tonight's banquet. If not, we will really have to eat dirt. This silly woman, she can even enjoy dragon meat whenever she wants with me. How can she possibly eat dirt? Today my mood is pretty good, so I decided to change my taste and go to the street to buy a fruit jianbing. I also want to add an extra egg and an extra ham. Just that human aunties are too stingy. They even want to pay for the food they add. Don't you know that it is your honor for me to eat at your place? Just after Yi Hua left, a scream that could even make the gods cry rang out from Qing Yutong's bedroom. Qing Yutong held onto her own face in disbelief. I have been looking at this face for more than 20 years. How can it become so beautiful today? Although the change is not very big, it is still beautiful. And even I want to go up and lick it. Little sweetheart, did you do something to me last night? Not bad, just stand in front of brother-in-law with this face. I don't believe that brother-in-law will be able to endure it. A strong self-confidence swelled up in Qing Yutong's heart. I am not bragging. Just by crooking my finger, brother-in-law will be able to push me down. The system also had a stupefied look on its face. Master, little darling, you don't have to say anymore. Although you are a bit stingy normally, during crucial times, you are still rather reliable. Qing Yutong lightly flipped her hair, then bit onto her lower lip. My God, I really wish that I could *CK myself. Why do I have to look like this? This action of biting onto my lower lip is really unbearable for me. I have to go and show off in front of big sister. After finished speaking, Qing Yutong ran out and barged into Yi Hua's bedroom without even knocking on the door. Originally, I thought that there would be some explosive scene, but in the end, the bedroom was empty. What did the two of them do so early in the morning? When she came downstairs, she still did not see anyone. Qing Yutong, who was bored straightforwardly, sat on the bar counter and laughed foolishly. Yesterday, brother-in-law actually treated me like that. Today, he will definitely regret it to death. Humph. Not long later, the target appeared. Qing Yutong excitedly ran in front of Yi Hua, who was currently eating a fruit jianbing. Brother-in-law, look at my face. Do you feel that it is different? Yi Hua wrinkled his brows. This should be the effect of the golden crane meat. I didn't expect that the effect would be quite good. The overall effect of sister-in-law has become perfect, just that the current sister-in-law is still not proper. It is indeed different, there is more eye wax. Yi Hua said calmly, then walked past Qing Yutong, who was absent-minded, and walked up the stairs. Auditory hallucination. Just now, I definitely had an auditory hallucination. Not mentioning other things, just based on this face of mine. I can even kill a child, and brother-in-law actually said that I have eye wax. How is this possible? Master, there is indeed a small piece of eye wax at the corner of your eyes. Ah, why didn't you say so earlier? Qing Yutong felt that she followed the wrong teammate. Don't you even know how to remind me? Chapter 55. No, brother-in-law must be playing hard to get. I'm sorry. After all, I'm his sister-in-law. It's inevitable that I'm a little shy. Brother-in-law, with a smile on her face. Qing Yutong pushed open the office door and saw that her brother-in-law was currently smoking beside the window. Yi Hua didn't turn his head around and just responded, "Where's sis?" "I went to work." Oh, Qing Yutong stood on the tip of her toes and tried to figure out her brother-in-law's thoughts. Right now, I am unable to attack, and I have to retreat in order to advance. Brother-in-law, I'll go back to my room first, Qing Yutong said tenderly. The moment she turned around, she was shouting in her heart. Quickly shout, quickly shout. I know that it is very hard for you to endure. Don't be reserved. 1 minute later, Yi Hua extinguished the cigarette and looked at Qing Yutong, who was frozen at the doorway. Didn't you want to return to your room? Qing Yutong was once again injured. Brother-in-law really doesn't give me any face at all. When big sister is still around, brother-in-law still hugged onto my waist. But now that big sister is not around, brother-in-law doesn't even look at me in the eye. Master, your brother-in-law is not an ordinary man. That's right, ordinary men would have long pounced on me. Qing Yutong helplessly returned to her room. She had to properly organize her thoughts. Long'an City's Qingqing International Building used to be the headquarters, but for the sake of development, the headquarters had already been moved to Gaohai City. After all, Gaohai City was a first-rate commercial city. After parking the car at the company's parking lot, Qingya picked up her handbag and opened the car door. At this moment, she once again transformed into the cold and arrogant female CEO. And at this time, it was also the peak hour of work. There were quite a lot of employees who were working at the parking lot, and all of them were looking at this mysterious woman. Oh my God, when did such a beautiful woman come to our company? Could it be the new director? That's impossible. I heard that the position of director has already been decided internally. I really want to hug her thighs and lick her. She's in the elevator. I have to charge bro instantly. Many champions of the 100-meter dash appeared in the parking lot. Brother, why are you running? I don't know. I saw them running, so I ran too. Qingya was as cold as frost as she swept her gaze across the employees inside the elevator. Could it be that they don't even recognize me, the CEO? Wouldn't that be? Qingya's change in the past few days was very big, especially today. If it wasn't for the fact that Yi Hua often met Qingya, Yi Hua wouldn't dare to be sure. The current Qingya couldn't be described with words. It smells so good. How can this fragrance be so special? It must be the fragrance of the woman behind me. After so many years of fighting, this should be the fragrance of her body. Is there such a body fragrance? The one in my family also has a body fragrance, and every time she smells me half to death. Hearing these teasing words, Qingya's expression became even colder. Just how does this Lu Heng manage his employees? His employees are just like this. This time Qingya misunderstood. With your looks, would men be able to stand it? Wasn't it just to satisfy his craving for words? When he passed through the lobby, the elevator opened. Director Lu! Director Lu! Director Lu! All the employees were taken aback. They shouted at the man standing at the elevator door respectfully. Lu Heng was already used to it. Just as he was preparing to enter the elevator, his gaze focused and he hurriedly shouted, CEO Qing! CEO Qing! All the male employees in the elevator were stunned. Who was Director Lu calling Director Qing? He was even bowing with such respect. Immediately, he thought of the woman behind him. Thinking about it again, there was only one person who could make Director Lu treat her with such respect, and her surname was Qing. That was the cool and elegant CEO, Qingya. Chairman Qing. Chairman Qing. Chairman Qing. The employees in the elevator sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Thinking back to what they said in the elevator just now, their hearts became cold. I actually took liberties with the CEO. I'm finished. Qingya replied calmly, not knowing who was the one who quietly ran away. In an instant, the elevator that was full just now was empty, leaving only Qingya alone. Director Lu, pay attention to the problem of the employee's quality. Qingya reminded coldly. Lu Heng did not dare to say much and hurriedly nodded his head. He carefully walked into the elevator and pressed the button for the top floor. The moment when the elevator door closed, the entire lobby went into an uproar. What happened to you all just now? What did you all run out for? A girl asked curiously. Damn, it scared me to death. I actually took liberties with CEO Qing just now. I'm finished. I can forget about getting promoted in this lifetime. I was just preparing to run for the position of team leader. What? CEO Qing came. All kinds of gossip immediately spread out in the lobby. Some said that CEO Qing came back to prepare for the marriage. After all, Long Outyan's matter had caused an uproar. Unfortunately, Long Outyan was currently still training in the mountains, and it would be hard for him to come back in a short while. Standing not far away was a security guard, who looked rather handsome. Hearing the surrounding discussions, he slightly frowned. This CEO Qing was the organization's final mission. Presumably, this woman had a lot to do with the organization's destruction. But to be honest, this woman was very beautiful, but with her capabilities, she was still not enough to destroy the organization. Just who was it? To be able to destroy the organization in an instant, that person's ability was definitely very strong. But I myself am not weak either. Arriving at the top floor, Lu Heng said respectfully, CEO Qing, the office is already prepared. No need, hold a video conference today. I have some matters that I need to hand over. In the future, we will use video conference. Qingya said faintly, giving birth to a child cannot be sloppy. The child has to properly recuperate. If not, that fellow Yihua will definitely make a big fuss. I wonder what kind of reaction he will have when he sees the note that I left behind. I reckon that he will explode from anger. I won't talk back when I go back this afternoon. Lu Heng was sure that this matter was related to that man, but he did not dare to speak carelessly. CEO Qing, I understand. Go and gather the higher-ups for a meeting. Yes. Qingya mainly wanted to explain the company's development route for the next few months, and also to buy a broadcasting platform for her sister. In order to achieve the goal of fast growth, buying a small company would do. With her sister's fame, the company would be able to instantly become a large-scale broadcasting platform. While Qingya was working hard, Yihua looked at Happy World out of boredom. Just that he was a bit absent-minded. After checking his body for a bit, he did not find anything strange. Turning on the computer, Yihua asked Baidu what was his situation. What kind of answers are these, stupid? Yihua said displeased. How can I possibly be absent-minded because of a woman? This is truly a fantasy. Definitely not possible. Drooling while sleeping, moaning while dreaming, making weird sounds, and even likes to contradict me. All kinds of bad habits gathered together. If not for the fact that she is pregnant with my child, how would I possibly look at her differently? Misconception. Definitely misconception. Taking out a stick of cigarette, Yihua began to puff out smoke. This woman really messed up my life. Yihua frowned. This sister-in-law of mine likes to make a big fuss when she has nothing to do. 10 minutes later. The corner of Yihua's mouth began to twitch. Another 10 minutes passed. Chapter 56. Brother-in-law, Qing Yutong threw herself into Yihua's embrace with a crying tone. This was not Qing Yutong pretending, she was really scared. What kind of freaking game is this? I just parachuted and picked up a small pistol. Then the moment I opened the door, bang bang bang, I died. There was also a gun. I happily picked up a 98K. And just when I walked up the stairs, bang bang bang. Qing Yutong felt that this game cannot be played, such a big map. And there are only a total of 100 people. But I keep feeling that there are 99 people staring at me. The main point was that the sudden gunshots practically scared Qing Yutong to death, because the system said to adjust the volume of the earphones to the maximum. That way, she would be able to hear the footsteps. But Qing Yutong could only hear her own screams. Although she had the system's assistance, she was still a girl after all. Her state of mind was not that good, and it was very easy for her to be scared by unknown things. What happened? Seeing that his sister-in-law was so wronged, Yihua asked gravely, "Who dares to bully my sister-in-law?" Qing Yutong pointed at the computer and said pitifully, "They bullied me." Yihua went closer to the computer. "It is just a game. What a fuss. Brother-in-law, help me take revenge." Qing Yutong was unwilling. Brother-in-law looks very powerful. He will definitely be able to get chicken. Yihua sighed. The games developed by humans are too childish. What's the point of this kind of virtual fighting and killing? Boring. However, his sister-in-law was bullied. As the brother-in-law, as the supreme overlord, he had to get back his face. How do we play? Yihua lit up a cigarette and asked faintly. At the start, there is no parachute, equipment is all snatched. Although Qing Yutong did not finish a few rounds, she still managed to comprehend the profoundness of the game. Yihua thought that it was something, and said faintly, "Bring me an ashtray." Okay, Qing Yutong eagerly went to prepare an ashtray, soda, spicy bar, and even stood behind Yihua and gave him a massage. It was simply a 5-star enjoyment. Brother-in-law, click on that game and start. Yihua clicked on it unhurriedly, and very quickly he entered the game. Brother-in-law, you need to wear earphones to play. If not, you won't be able to play well. Qing Yutong reminded. Yihua flicked the cigarette ash. Just watch. Oh, Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Brother-in-law is so awesome. He doesn't even need to wear earphones. Right after the image appeared, Yihua narrowed his eyes and instantly pressed the F button. Brother-in-law, why did you press F so quickly? You have to look at the map. Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Yihua said gravely, "Be quiet." Oh, controlling the keyboard and mouse, Yihua was finally able to land on the ground safely. Brother-in-law, there's someone running towards you. Quickly run. Qing Yutong immediately became excited, and both of her hands slapped onto Yihua, telling him to quickly run. What kind of joke was this? As a supreme being, did he still need to run? Back then, he had faced an enemy 10 times stronger than him without any fear. Yet a mere human wanted him to run. Childish. Brother-in-law, he's coming. Hammer him. Yihua snorted coldly. A mere trash actually dares to strut around in front of me. Brother-in-law, move. Qing Yutong hurriedly shouted. Unhurriedly, Yihua pressed his left button and threw out an uppercut. His opponent suddenly jumped up and punched him. The screen turned black. Yihua. Qing Yutong. The other party's voice immediately rang out from the earpiece that was placed on the table. Brat, spar with me, the king of fist, you better practice more. Yihua stared blankly at the screen. Qing Yutong understood her brother-in-law's current feelings and consoled him. Brother-in-law, don't be afraid. Stand up and continue rubbing. How is this possible? To actually get my head blown up by a mere human? This is simply a great humiliation. And I even received consolation from my sister-in-law. Lighting up another cigarette, Yihua re-entered the game. I was careless just now. Brother-in-law, don't be anxious. Let's jump to a place with less people. Although Qing Yutong was timid, she still had some brains. With my current level, we definitely cannot jump to a place with more people. Yihua opened up the map. How can I possibly jump to a place with less people? That would be a display of cowardice. I, the Supreme Overlord, have killed countless of people. When have I ever been a coward? Brother-in-law, why did you jump to such a densely packed house? I was forced to death by that old man just now. Be quiet, Yihua said gravely. A lousy game can't even get me, the Supreme Overlord. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. Seems like brother-in-law is even more of a noob than me. And he even has such an unfathomable look on his face. Yihua observed for a bit. At least 10 plus people jumped to this place. Then I shall let you all see the consequences of angering the Supreme Overlord. Brother-in-law, quickly enter the house and pick up the gun. Yihua did not even enter the house. He stood on the main road and said in disdain, "Guns are things for children to play with, fists are the hard and fast rule." Qing Yutong was stupefied and said foolishly, "Brother-in-law, can you not act cool?" Right after Qing Yutong finished speaking, da-da-da, the screen turned black. Shameless humans. To actually launch a sneak attack. To not even have the courage to fight one-on-one. How is this any different from those humans in the past, bastard? Don't think that Wei Chang's one-track mind came for no reason. Like boss, like subordinate. Brother-in-law, how about returning the gun to me? Qing Yutong said tenderly. Brother-in-law's expression didn't seem to be too good. It even turned black. Yihua did not say anything, and once again clicked into the game. It was still the same place, but this time, Yihua did not stand in the middle of the road. Despicable humans, you all are destined to suffer the wrath of the Supreme Overlord. Brother-in-law, gun. Qingya pointed to a corner of the house. I am not blind. Yihua used a very slow speed to pick up the M16 along with the 60 bullets. I never thought that there would be a day where I, the Supreme Overlord, would use a gun. This is so ironic. Just when he finished searching a small bedroom, he turned around. Bang! A shotgun ended Yihua's character, and the screen turned black once again. The cigarette in Yihua's mouth burned out, and the ashes slowly fell down just like Yihua's mood. I was actually killed by a human 3 times. A whole 3 times. This is an extraordinary shame and humiliation. If this hatred is formed, do you believe that with a snap of my fingers all of you will die? Brother-in-law, I told you to wear your earphones, but you didn't. You are so noob, and I was actually looked down upon by my sister-in-law. Brother-in-law, don't be angry. Sister-in-law will take revenge for you. I even need sister-in-law to take revenge for me. If this were to be spread out, where would I put my face? Brother-in-law, how can you be so shameless? I want to play as well. Only then did Qing Yutong experience the fun of the game, while Yihua was driven mad by this game. Brother-in-law, how about you go and buy a high-end computer and place it here? Then we will be able to play as a duo. The computer in your office definitely won't be able to play. Yihua was a person who would definitely take revenge on any grudge. Other than Qingya, this game made Yihua very angry. Help me buy it. Phone. Qing Yutong stretched out her hand. I didn't expect that I would inadvertently create a situation where I am playing a game with brother-in-law. From now on, I won't be far from pushing brother-in-law down. Chapter 57. If Yihua's subordinates were to find out that His Honor had actually injured himself because of a game, I wonder what they would think. However, Yihua's subordinates would definitely come over to persuade His Honor. Your Honor, this is just a game. There is no need to be so serious about it. When Yihua became serious, even he himself would be afraid. One must know that Yihua had relied on himself to walk onto the path of a king step by step from a small undead. The hardships and deaths that he had faced on this path were something that only he himself could understand. However, he had never said that it was bitter, and he also didn't feel that it was bitter. In fact, it was even a kind of enjoyment. Before the computer arrived, Yihua was silently watching his sister-in-law play the game, and from there, he could understand the characteristics of the game, even though she would not last more than 10 minutes every time she played the game. If Qingya was a whining monster, then her sister-in-law would be a shivering monster. Every time she was mysteriously beaten to death by someone, her entire body would tremble, and her eyes would become absent-minded. Afterward, she would turn her head around and look at me pitifully. That expression of hers that was begging for consolation was simply unparalleled. This sister-in-law was indeed different. Qingya wouldn't reveal such an expression. On the other side, Qingya was currently sitting in the conference room and eating lunch boxes with the company's higher-ups. Of course, it was to speed up the conference. Looking at the entire conference room, there were only 2 middle-aged women among all the higher-ups. The rest were all men. Although it was a conference, it was also an appreciation party. Even when they were eating, they still peeked at the female CEO who was sitting at the head of the table. How could there be such a beautiful woman in the world? He had gone to the headquarters for meetings in the past. Although it was also very amazing at that time, it was not as explosive as today. No matter how delicious the food in front of him was, it could not be compared to the feeling of quietly glancing at him. Meanwhile, after Qingye ate a few mouthfuls, she couldn't eat anymore. It wasn't that it wasn't tasty, rather she felt that it was a bit disgusting. Thinking to herself, this is the symptom of a pregnant woman. Qingye blamed Yihua in her heart. If it wasn't for him, would I be feeling so disgusted, especially today? She didn't know what he was doing now. Didn't he know how to call to show his concern? He wasn't behaving like a husband at all. Upon seeing the ring on her ring finger, Qingye's negative emotions immediately disappeared. Feeling elated, the corner of Qingye's mouth unconsciously revealed a light smile. Instantly, the sound of saliva being swallowed could be heard in the conference room. Their eyeballs were about to pop out. So CEO Qing looks like this when she smiles. She's really beautiful. She's so beautiful. Qingye took a glance at everyone, and everyone immediately lowered their heads to eat. Sigh. I was originally already pretty enough, but now that I have become so pretty, it is also a troublesome thing. I will definitely incur the jealousy of others, especially those noble women. It is all Yihua's fault. In any case, it is all Yihua's fault. In any case, I am the scapegoat. I don't know what he's doing now. He's definitely ordering takeout. And it must be crayfish. He's letting his sister peel crayfish for him. That's good too. When his sister can't take it anymore, she'll naturally go home. The meeting continued all the way until 4 p.m. Other than the half-an-hour break during the meal, the meeting had been going on the entire time. It must be said that Qingye was very formidable. Her reputation as a strong woman was not undeserved. Meeting dismissed, Qingye shouted coldly, picked up her bag, and walked out of the conference room, preparing to go home and see what Yihua was doing. In actuality, Qingye was also very nervous in her heart. If I were to open the bedroom door and discover Yihua and my little sister lying on the bed, what should I do? This fellow is definitely capable of doing it. The higher-ups didn't know why the CEO was so anxious. Perhaps only General Manager Liu Hang had figured out a little, but he didn't dare to say much. Driving the car, Qingye rushed back at top speed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent. This is definitely the attitude of a wife catching her adulterer. If Yihua really dares to do something that lets me down, then I will perish together with him. Qingye, who was driving the car, began to let her imagination run wild. The scene of her man and her little sister, lying on the bed, actually appeared in her mind, causing her beautiful eyes to turn red. Sigh, there's nothing I can do. My pregnant woman syndrome is acting up again. I love to let my imagination run wild. Stopping the car at the entrance of Leisure Bar, Qingye took a few deep breaths and walked into Leisure Bar. There was no difference from when she left the bar. Quietly going upstairs, Qingye's heart was beating faster and faster, especially when she was standing at the entrance of the bedroom. Her entire body was nervous to the limit. Her delicate hand that was holding onto the door handle was trembling. This door is already opened. If it is really the same as what I imagined, then what should I do? Don't open it? I should first give Yihua a call and tell him that I am coming back. This way, I won't know anything. With a very complicated feeling, in the end, Qingye still chose to push open the bedroom door. When she saw the neat big bed, the top of the bed was completely empty, and a rock that was suspended in the air was placed down. Could it be that this fellow is watching Jubilant movie in the office? How old is he already? Really, in the future, he should just bring the kid to watch cartoons. Pushing open the door of the office, the inside of the office was also completely empty. Where is he? Qingye silently looked towards the storeroom that was previously in the office. Right now, it had become her little sister's bedroom. And Yihua is actually in her little sister's bedroom. The rock that was originally suspended in the air once again. Qingye tightly clenched her delicate hands, stood at the side of the door, took a deep breath, then fiercely pushed open the door. A foul atmosphere could be seen inside, and two figures could be seen in front of Qingye's eyes. On the table at the side, there were 2 buckets of instant noodles, and an empty package of spicy gluten, and the red soy sauce inside the package had all flowed onto the table. How can these 2 people be so sloppy? Brother-in-law, give me the expansion clip. Change the silencer. How can it be like this, brother-in-law? Your marksmanship is so lousy, you can't even hit the person. Change the silencer. Shoo, someone is coming, quickly hide, quickly hide. Qingye didn't know whether to laugh or cry. These 2 fellows are actually playing a game. Seems like even being joyful is unable to satisfy their childish hearts. Walking in quietly, Qingye stuck her head in between the 2, and took a look curiously, only to see that the 2 of their characters were lying on the haystack. The little sister had a nervous look on her face, and Yihua looked very strange, as if he had eaten a fly. Qing Yutong originally wanted to mock her brother-in-law, but who knew that when she saw a head of black hair, she was scared witless, and unconsciously pressed the left mouse button. Tap tap tap. Yihua said gravely, Qing Yutong, what are you shooting for? Don't you know that you will be exposed? Big sister, you are annoying. Don't make any sound when you walk. Qing Yutong's fist landed onto Qingye's arm, and she immediately controlled her own character. The other party already knew her position. Brother-in-law, cover me, I am going to fight with them. Yihua shouted gravely. Fight for what? Go around to the side. Seems like after going through countless of deaths, Yihua also knew how to use tactics. Thinking back then, Yihua never used any tactics, he would just push his way through, firmly believing that all tricks were just paper tigers in front of absolute strength. Brother-in-law, I got knocked down, quickly come and help me, why are you so stupid? Yihua couldn't help but say. In this game, forming a party relied on team spirit. If I played this game a few hundred years ago, how could I possibly be wiped out by that group of humans? Chapter 58. Qing Yutong was skillfully using the dodging formula, while Yihua was being led by his sister-in-law to use the dodging formula. Whenever he saw someone, he would kneel down, and this almost caused Yihua to be angered to the point of having internal bleeding. However, if Yihua wanted to win, he would have to use his brain. With his current spear techniques, Yihua felt that he was still lacking a lot. However, as long as he was given a few days of time to properly train, would these small fries still dare to be arrogant in front of me? After throwing out a few smoke bombs, Yihua's vision was sealed. Yihua went to save his sister-in-law. If the 7 deadly sins were to see this, they would definitely question whether or not this was still his honor from before. He actually knows how to save people. The 2 people in front of him seemed to be experienced players, as they did not attack hastily. Meanwhile, Yihua was also pondering in his heart on how to get out of this crisis. Brother-in-law, how about I go and act cute and beg them to let us go? Qing Yutong, who was helped up, hurriedly drank a pill, and decided to sell her body. As the sister-in-law of the Supreme Sovereign, do you still need to act cute? No need. Brother-in-law, now is not the time to be impulsive. It wasn't easy for us to make it to the top 20, and we've already been dead for a day. Brother-in-law, I still need to eat chicken. At this moment, the smoke grenade dispersed. Bang! Qing Yutong died once again. Why don't you just hide behind a tree? Yihua had a headache. How would I know that the smoke bomb would disappear? Quickly help me up. Quickly help me up. I want to eat chicken. I want to eat chicken. I don't want to die. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. Bang! From the looks of it, the other party wanted to kill Yihua cleanly, not even giving Yihua the chance to help Yihua up. Qing Yutong was angered to the point that she poked her hair, and Yihua's position was also exposed. Being sandwiched by the 2 of them, Yihua was already dead. Right now, the only thing that Yihua had to do was to break out of the encirclement. However, these 2 people's marksmanship was very accurate, and it would be very hard for Yihua to break out of the encirclement. Looking at the 2-seater motorcycle that was not far away from him, Yihua decided to take a gamble. He took out the grenade and threw it in their direction. Then he ran towards the motorcycle. As expected, he was safe when the grenade exploded, because they would try to avoid it. But after the thunder, it was time to show off his skills. Da-da-da. Wow, brother-in-law, you're so flirtatious. Snakeskin. Yihua did not say anything, and silently took a puff of the cigarette. I am no longer the newbie that I was playing just now. Although I was moving in a snake-like manner, I still got hit a few times, and my HP immediately turned red. Luckily, I got onto the motorcycle and escaped. That's true. Brother-in-law is amazing. Moi. Before Yihua could finish his words, the motorcycle crashed into a tree, and the screen turned black. Yihua lost in driving skills. The two people who were sandwiched were also dumbfounded. Their stomachs were hurting from laughing too hard. They had originally thought that he was a king, but they didn't expect him to be a bronze. Qing Yutong held onto her forehead, and towards her brother-in-law's driving skills. She was completely convinced. Yihua felt that this wouldn't do. I have to bitterly train my spear techniques. This is the hard truth. Without spear techniques, it is impossible for me to win this game. I'm back. Qingye reminded faintly. Meanwhile, Yihua responded and continued to play duo with his sister-in-law. The corner of Qingye's mouth slightly twitched. In order to come back home earlier, I did not rest for even a moment, and now that I am back home, you only have this kind of attitude. Humph. Qingye snorted and returned back to her bedroom. Meanwhile, the two people who were playing duo were very indifferent. There was nothing that was able to stop their passion for eating chicken. After boarding onto the plane, Qing Yutong turned on the microphone and said with her sweet voice, "Welcome everyone, to No Chicken Dinner Flight XX-188. This flight departs from S City. Along the way, we will pass by Air Raid Shelter, Roshawk, School, Wilderness, and finally, the final destination is the military base. The plane has already taken off. Please turn off all mobile devices. Please fasten your seatbelt. Keep your small table properly. Please confirm if you have brought your parachute, and choose a suitable place to parachute. I hope that the passengers will not be able to eat chicken, turn into boxes upon landing, explode while driving, get smashed by the airdrop, die while running away from the blue circle. And for those who are still dripping with blood, asterisk and hashtag yen% and asterisk and hashtag yen. Please come to this flight again next time. Please remember XX-188. XX-188. /sent BRBR. Sent ID equals 33. After Qing Yutong finished speaking, there were only two people left in the cabin. Brother-in-law done. Let's monopolize the C building. /sent BR. Script async src equals https. // Paget2. Google syndication. com/Paget/js/ads/bigoogle. JS. Client equals CA pub. 606334470533534 inch origin equals anonymous. /script. ins class equals ads bigoogle style equals display. Block text align center. Data ad layout equals in article data ad format equals fluid data ad client equals CA pub. 606334470533534. Data ad slot equals 84009508545. /in script ads bigoogle equals window. Ads bigoogle. Push. /script br. Sent ID equals 34. However, after the two of them parachuted, Qing Yutong was in despair. Why is there not even a single gun in the entire military base? After taking a bath, Qingye prepared to choose an evening dress. Looking at herself in the mirror, I'm so beautiful that I'm stupefied. Chapter 59. Why? Yihua asked coldly. You still ask me why? Have you done what a husband should do? I just wanted you to see if my clothes were good or not. But you didn't even turn your head. I asked you to accompany me to the banquet, but you refused. Don't you know that people will bully your wife? What kind of husband are you? I must have been blind to have taken a fancy to you. Qingye scolded as she pushed Yihua away. Her aura was oppressive, and she was simply unrivaled. Qingye was only willing to stop when she pushed Yi Hua onto the wall. I cooperated with you, hoping to become the woman that you want me to be. But what about you? You only think about yourself. How can you be so selfish? Can't you treat me better? What Qingye scolded was indeed right. Yi Hua was indeed selfish. Are you done scolding? Yi Hua asked gravely. No. Why don't we order takeout first? Qingye froze, and her beautiful face became completely red. With a poochie sound she laughed, and this laughter brought tears, and gradually, she started crying loudly. Why was her life so bitter? She was clearly in the middle of a quarrel, a breakup, and a divorce, yet she was thinking of ordering takeout. She really couldn't go on living like this. Yi Hua hugged onto Qingye, who was crying bitterly. And no matter how much she struggled, Yi Hua didn't let go. I can go with you, but you have to promise me one thing. Just from the aura that Qingye gave off when she pushed me just now, I can tell that she has the potential to become his honor's wife. What? Be obedient in the future. Yi Hua, tell me clearly, when have I ever been disobedient? If you want me to peel the crayfish, I'll peel it for you. If you want me to buy breakfast, I'll go too. I, Qingye, have never listened to a man like this in my entire life. Qingye shouted angrily. What I mean is, don't run away from home so easily in the future. Yi Hua's tone became much more relaxed. I hope that this scene will not be seen by others. If not, where would I, a supreme overlord, be able to put my face? To be threatened by a woman, and on top of that I succeeded. Qingye went into a daze for a moment, and both of them became silent at the same time. You look very good in this qipao, very beautiful. Yi Hua said faintly. Don't think that I will forgive you just because you said something nice. Rumble. Qingye's stomach failed to live up to her expectations and made a sound. This is so awkward, especially during the confrontation of aura. With this sound, I have already lost half of the battle. After letting go of Qingye, Yi Hua said with a slight smile. I will order takeout. On the other hand, Qingye covered her face and ran into the washroom. What a disgrace. Qing Yutong, who was outside the door, let out a sigh. Quarreling for 10 minutes, reconciling for 20 seconds. In the future, if they were to quarrel, I'll just buy some melon seeds and spicy sticks, pull out a small stool, and quietly watch them. Yi Hua, why don't you wear this suit? The suit that you are wearing right now is filled with the stench of smoke. Their temper came and went quickly. See? The two of them immediately acted as if nothing had happened. Yi Hua took off his suit and wore the one that was in Qingye's hands. Help me bring this one to dry clean. Qingye folded the suit neatly and placed it at the side. When the time comes, I will send the suit to be cleaned. Looking at Qingye busying herself here and there, Yi Hua felt that Qingye had changed a bit. Seems like my teachings are still effective. Not long later, the crayfish was served, and the three began to enjoy the delicacy of the crayfish. Right now, needless to say, Qingye would take the initiative to peel the crayfish for Yi Hua, and after eating one crayfish for herself, she would peel the crayfish for Yi Hua. Yi Hua was like a big boss as he enjoyed the delicacies. Having a woman is so comfortable. Yutong, I am going to acquire a broadcasting platform, and it will be completed within these few days. At that time, you will have to cooperate with me to advertise the platform. Qingye took out the prawn meat, placed it into Yi Hua's bowl, and said faintly, All right. Yutong, recently, Leisure Bar's business isn't good. When should we advertise it a bit and stand on the platform? Yi Hua picked up the prawn meat with his chopsticks and said. He felt that the prawn meat was more interesting to eat than the dragon meat. The chopsticks in Qing Yutong's hand immediately fell onto the ground. The two of you, to actually treat me as a money-making machine, you two have no conscience. Qingye said faintly, before you become a has-been, you can still earn money. After that it would be hard to say. Yi Hua added, a tiger that has fallen from grace is being bullied by big sister, and also brother-in-law. I am going to sue you too for kidnapping child labor. Qingye smiled and said, Yutong, you are not young anymore. When are you planning to get married? I like brother-in-law. Qing Yutong began to counterattack. As long as you two are talking about this matter, you two are using brother-in-law as a weapon. Stop fooling around, be more serious. Qingye said. Qing Yutong pouted her mouth, then drank a mouthful of cocktail. I am not joking, I just like brother-in-law. Forget it, do as you wish. Qingye felt that she couldn't do anything about it. I will just let her live and perish on her own. In actuality, with Qing Yutong's current appearance, wouldn't it be easy for her to find a husband? Yi Hua stretched out his hand and patted onto Qing Yutong's head. Yutong, it is fine for you to like brother-in-law, but you have to improve yourself first. Only then will brother-in-law like you. Qing Yutong didn't expect that her brother-in-law would be so cooperative, and said shyly, since brother-in-law has already said so, sister-in-law will definitely cooperate. I will not disappoint brother-in-law. Qingye chose to ignore it. These two are determined to anger me. Seeing that Qingye was silent, Yi Hua was very satisfied. This is how a wife should be magnanimous. Seeing that her big sister was silent, Qing Yutong was secretly happy in her heart. So big sister has tacitly agreed to it, so perverted. I am full. You two can go on your date. I am going back to my room to play games. Brother-in-law, remember to come back early. We will combine our swords and go on a killing spree. Qing Yutong touched her mouth and laughed. All right. Yi Hua said indifferently. However, Qingye rolled her eyes and said unhappily, Yi Hua, you are already going to be a father, and you are still playing games with Yutong. Boring. If you are bored, then go and find a job. Even more boring. Qingye gave up. This fellow is so lazy that he has reached a critical point. Coming to the bedroom, Qingye changed into a white cheongsam, and Yi Hua leaned on the side and looked at her. No matter from which angle I look at my woman, she is so perfect, not bad. Yi Hua, come over and help me pull up the zipper. Qingye called out lightly. Yi Hua walked to the back of Qingye, pulled up the zipper, and wrapped his hands around Qingye's slender waist. The two of them looked at each other in the mirror at the same time. It must be said that their appearance is simply a perfect match, and the expression on their brows is also perfect. A match made in heaven is nothing more than this. Facing Yi Hua's gaze, Qingye was a bit shy and slightly turned her face away. What are you looking at? Looking at whether you have eye wax or not. The romantic atmosphere immediately disappeared completely, and what was left behind was only Qingye's anger. Go. I don't want to talk to you. Looking at the beautiful back view, Yi Hua laughed lightly, then walked out of the bedroom and went downstairs. Yi Hua's heart became cold. Wei Chang and the other employees are just standing there doing nothing. This is a sign that the company is going to collapse. Seems like I have to let my sister-in-law do some publicity. Chapter 60. After Yi Hua and Qingye left, Tang Wei came to the front of Uncle Wei and asked in a low voice, Uncle Wei, why do I feel that the lady boss has become more beautiful? Oh, that's normal, Wei Chang said calmly. In his heart, there was no distinction between beautiful women and ugly women. To Wei Chang, they were all just food. Uncle Wei, do you like beautiful girls? After a long time, Tang Wei asked shyly. Wei Chang didn't think much of it. It's all right. Tang Wei secretly rejoiced and asked again. Then, do you mind if your girlfriend is much younger than you? No. Wei Chang's answer was very decisive. In his heart, there was no concept of age. Then, Uncle Wei, do you mind if I become your girlfriend? Tang Wei made up her mind. At worst, she would just be heartlessly rejected like last time. Actually, after thinking about it, Tang Wei felt that she was too impulsive at that time. Her boss was too handsome. However, Wei Chang was different. Because she had been in contact with Wei Chang every day, she was slowly moved by Wei Chang's concern. Therefore, today's confession wasn't blind, it was very serious. If Wei Chang rejected her, she reckoned that she would be even sadder than that day. To someone like Wei Chang, a girlfriend was dispensable. After hearing Tang Wei's confession, Wei Chang tightly wrinkled his brows, causing Tang Wei's heart to sink. Just as Yi Hua was about to open his mouth to reject Yi Hua suddenly recalled his honor's teaching. Learn about human nature. Even his honor had already gotten a wife, and Lai Gu even had 3 wives. Shouldn't I also learn about human emotions? This is not a bad idea. looking at Tang Wei in front of him. Although she was not at the level of Madame, she could be considered as one of the best among human women. Being able to accompany him could be considered as passing. Xiao Tang, of course you can be my girlfriend. Wei Chang smiled. Hearing Wei Chang's reply, Tang Wei felt that it was a bit strange, but she didn't care too much about it. Uncle Wei agreed, that's great. She suddenly kissed Uncle Wei on the cheek and jogged away to her best friend's side with a shy look on her face. Wei Chang touched the place where he was kissed just now and was currently feeling it. It feels soft and very comfortable. No wonder both his honor and Lai Gu have women. It turns out that this is the taste. Wei Wei Yu. Tang Wei's best friend was called Fang Qian, and the two of them were in the same dormitory. However, Fang Qian was not as beautiful as Tang Wei, and was a very ordinary girl. However, Fang Qian's heart was still very good, and it could be seen from how she pleaded for Tang Wei last time. Tang Wei shyly bit her lips as she secretly looked towards Wei Chang. With one look, one could tell that she was a little girl who had fallen in love. Fang Qian, I know what you are thinking, but this time, I am not being impulsive. Tang Wei knew that her best friend was worried about her, and thought that she was being hot-headed again. Fang Qian felt that it was normal for Tang Wei to like the boss. At the very least, the age difference between them was not much. But Uncle Wei was at least 20 years older than Tang Wei. Wei, but your age. What's the matter? Uncle Wei is getting old. At least I still have the strength to take care of him. Tang Wei said with a light smile. Seemingly, she had long thought of this kind of problem, and had already made a plan. Actually, Tang Wei had been following her mother since she was young. Her father had died early, and she, who had never experienced fatherly love, suddenly met with Wei Chang, this kind of uncle and warm man. Her heart was immediately captivated. This was the man she wanted. Fang Qian still did not understand. With Tang Wei's ability, she would have limitless potential after graduation. Uncle Wei was indeed very nice to people, and was also very handsome. But in the end, he was just a security captain. Fang Qian did not voice out her thoughts. After all, this was Tang Wei's own decision. Wei, tomorrow is Jia Jiaojia's birthday, are we going? Fang Qian frowned and asked, seemingly hesitating. After hearing that, Tang Wei also revealed out an unhappy expression. Let's go, in any case, we are still in the same dormitory. But she. Alright, rich people are all like that, let's just ignore her. Sai, we can only do this. Fang Qian said. Jia Jiaojia was very rich. The car that she drove to school was even a Ferrari-level supercar. And the other girls in the dormitory were all people from ordinary families. How could they be as rich as Jia Jiaojia? And Jia Jiaojia was very unhappy with Tang Wei, not for any other reason, but just because Tang Wei was good-looking. Thus, Jia Jiaojia thought of all sorts of ways to bring Tang Wei along with her, and then ridiculed Tang Wei. At the start, Tang Wei thought that Jia Jiaojia was a rich second generation, but later on, she found out that Jia Jiaojia was also a rich second generation, and gradually became estranged from Jia Jiaojia. Adding on that Jia Jiaojia did not live in the dormitory, their relationship was just like that. However, towards Jia Jiaojia's invitation, Tang Wei was hoping that Jia Jiaojia would not be like how she was in the past. In actuality, Tang Wei was thinking too much. It was hard to change a person's nature. Even Wei Chang was unable to change his bad habit of eating people. On the other side, Yi Hua and Qingya drove towards Pin 1 Clubhouse. Yi Hua sized up Qingya, and Qingya, who was driving, naturally knew that Yi Hua was looking at her. Yi Hua, can you move your eyeballs to another direction? Qingya couldn't take it anymore. She felt that wherever this fellow's gaze landed on, that part of her would feel very itchy. Yi Hua seemed to be not very satisfied. Qingya, aren't you dressed too casually? You didn't say that at home just now, Qingya said angrily. This is simply looking for trouble. Oh, just now at home. I only looked at your charm. Charm your head. Qingya pouted. If this man was a bit more obedient, I would be able to save myself a lot of trouble. Yi Hua was displeased. As my Yi Hua's wife, you are above tens of thousands of people and below only one person. You are destined to be the most resplendent woman. A few black lines immediately appeared on Qingya's forehead. I have never seen someone praise me like this before. Below only one person? You are just beating around the bush to brag about yourself, right? However, at least I can still hear what you said at the end. At least you are tactful. Alright, stop bragging. Later on, when the banquet arrives, you can't be like this anymore. There should be a lot of big figures that will come. Qingya guessed. The banquet that was hosted by Xiao family was no ordinary banquet. Yihua sneered. For me to be able to come, it will be the most honorable thing that happened in their entire lives. Qingya rolled down the car window on Yihua's side and said faintly, I will allow you to smoke a cigarette to calm down. Yihua didn't speak. What kind of banquet is worthy for me, the Supreme Overlord, to attend? I dare to ask who in this world is capable of inviting me, the Supreme Overlord. Even if I were to attend, my lifespan would be shortened. Yo, angry? Seeing that Yihua didn't speak and didn't smoke for a long time, Qingya laughed. Ignorant. Alright, I am ignorant, alright, great sir. Sometimes, Qingya felt that Yihua was just like a child that needed to be coaxed. It's good that you know. Qingya let out a sigh. My life is also bitter. In the future, after coaxing the young, I still have to coax the older. First-class clubhouse, one of the high-class places in Long'an City. The expenses here were rather high, and it was really hard for an ordinary person to spend money here. However, the most mysterious person here was the boss of this clubhouse, who had never appeared before. The clubhouse occupied a very large area, at least the size of a football field. Furthermore, the main point of the clubhouse was that it was located in the downtown area. In the Golden Long'an City, the clubhouse appeared to be very luxurious. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.